Hey, good morning and welcome to Friday. It is September 19th, 2025. Nice to have you up here on Lake Wissota. And, coming up today, a lot of our usual Friday regulars. Courier Newsroom's Kia Vakil will join us to talk about some of the national headlines. We have a pretty safe idea of what we're talking about there. In our Week in Review panel with former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel and journalist Mark Jacob and Jennifer Schulze. Obviously, we're going to talk about media censorship out of fear and intimidation of the current administration and a president who's now saying he should be able to have licenses revoked for broadcasters if he doesn't like what they have to say. How fun is it to have somebody who thinks he's a king running the country here? So we've got all of that ahead of us. Dr. Kristen Lyerly will be here. Mike Clemens will give us some sports, including the Brewers sweeping the Angels and Christian Yelich getting RBI number 100 on the season. First time he's done that in a little while. He'll preview the Packers game as well. All that and more still ahead. 6:06 across the Civic Media Radio Network is when we get things going. We'll see you in just a bit.
Dairy Drive is closing. The resource first opened in 2021 using money from pandemic-era federal grants with 29 tiny home shelters. It gave people experiencing homelessness a stable place to stay and privacy. It was supposed to be temporary, and the city has extended the contract twice since then. But now that federal grant money has run out. The Dairy Drive encampment was set to close September 30th. There was a last-ditch effort to keep it open until the spring, and that measure was considered at Tuesday's Common Council meeting. More than 70 people registered to speak in support of extending it, including some residents of Dairy Drive.
My name is Stacy. Dairy Drive has provided me with a stable place to live. Even though it's not a 3-bedroom house, it's still my home, and it works for me. I'm able to have visitation with my son, where I can make him food, play basketball, and take him to the park. This place is showing my kid how to care for each other.
It was a long night. Alders didn't vote until after 1 a.m, and the vote was tight. Ultimately, the measure failed by just one vote, and now Dairy Drive will be closing September 30th. And you can expect some major traffic in the Oregon and Brooklyn area tonight. About 13,000 people are expected to go see Luke Bryan at Klondike Farms in Brooklyn tonight. The show starts at 6 o'clock. The sheriff's office says if you're going, build in some extra time. If you're not going to the show, but you need to be in that area, they say you'll probably want to find a detour. The sheriff's office and other law enforcement agencies will be there directing traffic. I'm Savannah Tomei-Olson. This is 92.7 WMDX News.
A setback for the Pack. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with Sports. NFL. The Packers traveled to Cleveland to play the Browns on Sunday. Yesterday, Packers tight end Tucker Kraft went down during practice with a knee injury. Offensive coordinator Adam Stenovich asked if he saw what happened.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be all right, but we'll just kind of see how it goes. Obviously, if anyone goes down that you have as a part of your game plan, you'll have to adjust some things. So we'll kind of see what happens with the injury report and everything like that and what the trainers say, and we'll make adjustments.
It appears to not be season ending. College football, the Badgers at home tomorrow at Camp Randall against Maryland. Game time 11 a.m. It's Wisconsin's first conference game of the season. The Brewers with another win. They beat the Angels 5-2, completing a 3-game sweep. Tonight, the Brewers in St. Louis against the Cards. The magic number now at 4.
Tough road trip coming up with travel and all that kind of stuff. Night game, travel the next day and play. Can't take anything for granted. Just got to keep banging away.
That's Pat Murphy with Sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
Farm news that impacts you and your community from the Midwest Farm Report throughout your day on 92.7 WMDX.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Bormans. Mostly cloudy and still warm with highs right around 80. Showers and a few thunderstorms developing later in the afternoon. Look for showers to be likely tonight, along with a few rumbles of thunder. It'll be a mild night again with low temperatures right around 60 degrees. Right now, it's 64 degrees.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
The Maggie Dawn Show.
Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, why throw your hat in the ring to become governor, especially in times like this?
Folks are tired of politicians who focus on culturals and partisan issues versus delivering real results is going to change lives. And that's what we've done in Milwaukee County. And so my calling is being able to be there for people at my best when people are dealing with their worst.
Live across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here is the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Well, hey there, Wisconsin. Good morning. It is 6:06 on a Friday morning, September 19th, 2025. It's another beautiful morning to have you here up north, live from Lake Wissota, from wherever you're spending your mornings, listening across the Civic Media Radio Network, catching us by podcast or through the website, or maybe watching us on social media right now, which is concerning to some people. I will explain in just a bit, but thanks for wrapping up your week right here. I got a question for you. Would you like to win some free Brewers tickets? It is the final installment of Free Ticket Friday. And in just a few minutes, less than 15, I will give you the keyword for today, for this morning, I should say, between now and 9 a.m., or you can text us using the Civic Media app, calling up one of the radio stations on the app, using the text feature, texting us the keyword, and I'll let you know about how you can go about winning that with the keyword coming up in just a bit. On this morning's program, we'll talk about Jill Underly, Wisconsin's Superintendent of Public Instruction, not exactly sugarcoating the current environment in her annual State of Education address Thursday at the Capitol. We'll have Kia Vakil from Courier Newsroom talking about some of the week's big stories, along with our Week in Review panel, which has some thoughts on the latest capitulation from corporate media and how it has emboldened Donald Trump to outright threaten the license of broadcasters simply for not liking what they say about him. And we'll ask the panel, what kind of role can journalists and their readers, listeners, and viewers play in pushing back against this latest example of a wannabe dictator doing whatever he wants, including making a mockery of the First Amendment? That coming up in our 7 o'clock hour. In our 8 o'clock hour, for struggling families on lower incomes, there are food banks, but some of those families are also in need of basic household items like diapers. There is a diaper bank in southeast Wisconsin that is holding a special campaign this week where donations are being matched and doubled. We'll talk to our friend Kate Duffy from Motherhood for Good and the Milwaukee Diaper Mission, which also helps women with basic hygiene supplies as well. Dr. Kristen Lyerly will preview her weekend show, and Mike Clemens will get a set for the Packers at Cleveland and the Brewers spending the weekend in St. Louis. First, however, the weather from meteorologist Brittany Merlot says a soaking weekend is on the way for some parts of the state as a slow-moving massive system has moved in, sending waves of rain over the next couple of days. The state forecast for today, breezy and cloudy, on and off rain, maybe some thunder. Highs in the upper 60s up north, mid 70s south, and east wind at 15 to 25 miles an hour. For tonight, the rain will be ramping up and could be heavy at times. Lows tonight in the mid 50s up north, around 60 to the south, with an east wind at 10 to 20 miles an hour. She'll have full forecast details less than an hour from now, but looking at the radar, you can really get an appreciation of this system. Essentially, it looks to be sitting somewhere over maybe south central Minnesota right now. And so Wisconsin, Minnesota, the eastern Dakotas, most of Iowa, parts of northern Illinois, big old spiral of rain. And it's one of those where, as Brittany said yesterday, it's going to be tough to predict exactly who's going to get rain, when, but it's just a whole lot of spotty rain activity. And so you just have to plan that you're going to be getting some rain at some point or another off and on throughout the course of the weekend. And again, Brittany has further details on that coming up in just a bit. But first, we head down to Madison Studio A2, where we see the concerned face of one Parker Olson, and
Concerned.
yeah, and then Alicia too. Alicia puts on YouTube, "Ooh, what's in the honeycomb design on your shirt?" Be not afraid, people. I actually do own shirts that do not have plaid designs on them. I do. I don't show them off very much because you're going for comfort. Oh no, there's plenty of them. But today just kind of felt like I could put this one on, which is, it's got a white base. It's a short sleeve, dress shirt. It's got a white base, but then it's got all these, I don't know, hexagons or whatever they are. Kind of has a honeycomb thing, and so it's got a kind of a beach theme. Some of them look like they have little palm fronds in there.
Is that what they are? Okay.
Yep, or just the colors of the Caribbean, I guess you could say. So it's a bit of a little festive Friday fun with the wardrobe today.
Get styling a little here.
Yeah, I mean, there's many a time where I reach for something like a solid. I've got this solid orange shirt. It's very bright. It's very colorful. But at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's a bit much.
I appreciate actually avoiding that.
And as I've said before, again, between being a news anchor and being a legislator, I wore, just the standard suit and tie, a lot of different ties, a lot of different suits, frankly, but a lot of solid color shirts for years and years and years. So to be at this age now and have this job now where, the plaid shirt is kind of the requisite uniform, I'm okay with it. I still like to dress up now and then, but
I do like dressing.
Comfort is important. So yeah, it works
well.
I
am very, very appreciative of how laid back we are here.
There you go. Laid back is it. What's on the docket for this weekend for you?
Not a whole heck of a lot. Going down on Sunday, hanging out with a couple of friends, watching the Packer game. Hoping to have some wings. I hear we're stopping at a wings place, which I'm very excited about.
You're excited about a wings place?
I am more excited about the wings than I am about watching the Cleveland Browns play the Packers.
Oh, well, okay. Does that include watching the Badgers as well as they take on Maryland tomorrow?
Yeah, that'll probably be part of my Saturday too. Yeah.
You don't sound too jazzed up about it though.
No. I can't say I'm exactly thrilled on that one.
And here's the thing. That's why we got Civic Media here for you. We have saved a lot of people. Well, the Badgers have saved a lot of people the time of actually sitting glued to a TV watching the football team.
Yeah.
And basically put it on the radio and listen in the background as you do everything else that you want to do. And that's what you'll get as the Badgers open the Big Ten season tomorrow, hosting Maryland. You can hear the pregame starting at 9 a.m. on Civic Media stations in Richland Center, Amory, Wisconsin Rapids, and Ripon. And, of course, the Packers, as Parker mentioned, Sunday, it's a noon game against Cleveland. Pregame begins at 10 a.m. Sunday on stations in Richland Center, Park Falls, Racine, Kenosha, and Watoma. So you'll be watching the Packer game with friends this weekend.
I'll be watching the Packer game with friends. The Badgers will probably be second screen content.
Yes. There's a lot of seconds. So you will do 2-screen viewing of things, right?
Oh, yeah. Last weekend, my dad and I, we have the TV in the basement and we have my TV from our room. I brought my TV in my room down to the basement so that we could have two things going. Yep. And I'll tell you what, Whitewater plays against the number 6 team in the country tomorrow. And that will be the first TV content while the Badgers are on the other TV, kind of off the corner, not being thought about nearly as much.
I'd be curious to know what percentage of the population is used to watching 2 screens at once. And how often they do it. And I mean this in both the TV way and the social media way. For example, I mean, I'm very much a dual screen watcher, let's say the Academy Awards. And then on the other screen, I'm either watching, social media comment on things, or I'm yapping back and forth with my friends about it. But then there's the dual screen, the TV stuff. Last night being a perfect example. As often happens on Thursday, we go to our local watering hole and meet up with some friends and neighbors there. But this particular bar, like a lot of places, does not have, they depend on Dish or one of the other places that does not have an agreement with FanDuel Sports, formerly Bally, formerly FSN, or whatever the heck it is, because that group has been at an impasse with Dish Network and other things for years now. And that's why I could never have something like say a Dish Network, because I mean, if you can't watch the Brewers, why bother? So while a lot of people were watching the Cubs and the Reds up on the TVs because they were part of a national TV game on Fox last night, other folks are gathered around me because
on your phone,
on my iPhone, because I've got the Spectrum on there. I just turned that puppy sideways. I set it on the bar in front of me, and I had people watching there.
Yeah, you and I are the same, Pat. We used to do that a lot while we were eating dinner in Whitewater. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. So there's a lot of dual screen stuff. Now, speaking of that Brewer game, Quinn Priester starts the game last night. Perfect through 4 innings, 12 men up, 12 men down, including 6 straight strikeouts to begin the game. And he still got a no decision in this one, which was really rough. The Brewers would eventually come back to win. And that's the thing. Even though he got a no decision, when Quinn Priester is pitching, whether he gets a decision or not, the Brewers have won 19 in a row. Yeah, when you start the game like that, that really helps, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty helpful. I think I read yesterday that if the Brewers get one more win with him starting, it'll tie Roger Clemens' record of 20 wins when they pitch.
That would be cool. Yeah. And Christian Yelich, he's not doing so bad. He just he hit RBI number 100 yesterday. 100 runs batted in. First time he's done that since 2018, when he had 110 ribbies and was named the National League MVP. So here he is, triple digits once again for him. So, I mean, that comeback from back surgery. And again, I'm one of those. I was one of them with the back surgery. I thought, well, that's it. You know, via con Dios, have a good retirement. I was wrong.
I'm glad you were wrong, Pat.
I am too, very much so. Jacob Mizorowski will start tonight in St. Louis, and that will get us going on a 3-game weekend series for the Brewers against St. Louis, and the pregame will get going at 6:40 on stations in Richland Center, Oshkosh, Racine, Park Falls, and Hayward. All right, while we're talking baseball, let me give you the keyword for this morning. Here's the thing. There's only one homestand left. It's next weekend when Cincinnati comes to town. And so for Free Ticket Friday, you have a chance to win 4 tickets to the game next Friday night when the Brewers take on the Cincinnati Reds. So get that Civic Media app out and get set to text us this keyword until 9 a.m. Blue, like the color, BLUE. Text us blue and you will be in the running. There will be more keywords throughout the weekend. More chance, or not through the weekend, more keywords throughout the day. And so more chances to enter. And then one of the day's entries will be chosen at random to win those tickets. All right, very quick, because we're going to have Kia Vakil coming up next, and then today's history lesson. Just a quick note that Dr. Jill Underly, the State Superintendent of Public Instruction, held her State of Education address yesterday at the Capitol, as reported here by the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel's Cleo Krejci. And the poll quote out of it is quite simple. This year, the biggest schoolyard bully in our public schools is our own federal government. She was talking about the hostility that the Trump administration and the Republican Congress has. And frankly, with Governor Tony Evers stepping back, look for Underly to be in a secure position to give the most unvarnished review of how the legislature is treating our children and undermining our public schools. She criticized the use of the U.S. Department of Education funding as some kind of a bargaining chip. And of course, she came back to the near generation of shortchanging our public schools by the legislature, forcing school boards to ask local taxpayers to hike their own property taxes just to cover basic operating costs as the legislature passes the buck. Underly had a lot more to say. We are going to hear about it from her directly next Wednesday in our weekly hometown segment at 7:30 from Dr. Underly. From the heart of America's Up North, live from Lake Wissota, thanks for making this the place to spend part of your mornings. I'm Pat Kreitlow, and this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Our weekly what segment?
Homeroom.
There you go.
What
You
did I
said
say?
hometown.
Oh, Jesus. Welcome to Friday, kids.
West in Madison, go to Verlo.com.
Does Trump's big bill end taxes on tips and overtime? No. President Donald Trump's new law exempts certain tip and overtime income from federal tax, but the deductions expire in 2028 and come with limits. Workers earning under $150,000 can deduct up to $25,000 in tips and $12,500 in overtime. Social Security, Medicare, and state taxes still apply. The Tax Policy Center says 2% of households will benefit from the tip provision, saving $1,800. The White House estimates $1,400 in average annual savings from the overtime deduction. I'm Trisha Young for Wisconsin Watch. Fact Briefs are bite-sized fact checks of trending claims produced by Wisconsin Watch and GigaFact. Read more at wisconsinwatch.org.
Fall is in the air, and there's no better place to enjoy it than at Sugar River Pizza in Sun Prairie. Cozy up inside for some spirits, 48 beers on tap, and THC drinks. Choose from a wide selection of their warm pastas, 12-hour smoked pulled pork, and of course, their pizzas. Voted Best of Madison, Sugar River Pizza is known for great food, great drinks, and a warm, welcoming atmosphere. Located on Cabela Drive in Sun Prairie, they also offer catering. Sugar River Pizza, where fall feels like home.
Hearing loss is frustrating. If you're not sure what others are saying in conversations because of loud background noise, why not call Madison Hearing Aid Center, 608-249-47.
All right, let's get into it. Part of our week in review as we do Fridays here on the show with Kia Vakil, Courier Newsroom's national political editor, joining us back home in Los Angeles. Kia, hello, how are you?
I'm well, Pat. How are you?
I'm good. Past couple of weeks, you've been on, I was going to say on the road. Well, no, it wasn't the road. You were in the air. You were overseas.
Yes.
You were over in Europe. Where was it? Vienna and Munich were the highlights?
No, I went to Berlin, Vienna, Prague, and Krakow. So I was abroad for a little over 3 weeks, and I haven't traveled in a little while, and I just wanted to do some travel and take a break from the state of the news.
I'm very much an advocate of travel and getting away from the headlines for a while because you got to plug back in. You can't unplug full time. And that's always my biggest fear, is that too many people have unplugged and said, well, you can't change anything anyway, even as the First Amendment is being shredded and things like that. So now that you're back, let's get into things here. And boy, last week I would have said the overarching theme, because of the Charlie Kirk murder, was this wrestling of how do you talk about the legacy of somebody with so many negatives and yet be against political violence. That to me seems to be a distant memory now, because the tour of vengeance that Republicans have gone on have now taken us onto a completely different plane of freedom of expression versus what wannabe autocrats want to do. That seems to be the overarching theme this week to me anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they're completely shredding the First Amendment, and any arguments that Trump, J.D. Vance, all these guys, top to bottom, right-wing activists have made about free speech or hate speech or freedom of expression, turned out to be total BS. And that's not shocking to me. And to be clear, there are some voices on the right who are principled and, pushing back on this just all-out assault on teachers, college administrators, college students, airline pilots, journalists, political pundits, people, everyone who are saying things, that are, maybe ugly and celebrating Kirk's death, and that I find distasteful, to folks who are quoting his own words and just posting that they didn't like his views and, condemn his death but didn't like his views. All those people are getting doxxed, fired, harassed, investigated by the government, from Texas to Ohio to Virginia, all over the country. And it's a modern day McCarthyist Red Scare. It's cracking down on people's freedom of speech. You can disagree with that speech. And look, I'm not going to pretend like the left has always gotten that completely right either. You could probably point to some overreach, but we've never seen anything like this under Democratic leaders, where they're using an arm of the state and working with really extreme activists online to harass and target and essentially encourage people to snitch on others for their posts online. And it's extremely ugly. It's extremely concerning. And then even worse is we now have corporations who are censoring, whether it's Jimmy Kimmel, his late night show being pulled off the air, whether it's, again, reporters being fired or benched or whatnot, or companies that are just afraid of how to cover this in terms of not engaging with his views or whitewashing them. It's terrifying, the moment we're in. This is the sort of thing I read about in history books growing up and being like, oh, gee, I'm glad we're past that. We turned out, we're not past it. It's reared its ugly head again. And, I think most Americans probably think this is too far and find this to be, I think most people broadly don't like political assassination, don't think he should have died. Maybe had a lot of people disagreed with him, a lot of people agreed with him. But I also think most people do not think this crackdown is appropriate. But that doesn't really matter. We're not in a majoritarian country anymore.
No, and when you mentioned McCarthyism, again, being from Wisconsin, who'd have thought well, a lot of us would have thought we'd have the next McCarthy coming from Wisconsin, that in Derek Van Orden. But of course, you monitor, all the Courier newsroom outlets around the country, and so while he may be very special for the hundreds upon hundreds of tweets that he's put out, I'm sure that in plenty of the other states, like you're hinting at, there are members of Congress or other elected officials who I think in an equal measure, history will not be kind to when we look at, defending our freedom of speech in this country.
Yeah. I mean, whether it's Governor Greg Abbott in Texas celebrating the firing of teachers, college professors, students being expelled because they made like a distasteful video. Again, like, these are public institutions. They are covered by the First Amendment. Those are lawsuits waiting to happen.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to get sued for a lot, and they deserve it. If and when the courts still uphold the First Amendment, which I think, depending on which courts you wind up in, some will and some won't. But, I think at the end of the day, for as far gone as the Supreme Court is, if you essentially say the First Amendment doesn't apply, then you're asking for something much uglier than what's happening, right? You're asking for people pushing for a new constitution, a constitutional revolution. Like, you can't say the First Amendment doesn't apply. And that's what they're saying.
Yeah. Although perhaps the most chilling thing I would have heard all week, you just uttered when you dropped the little phrase, depending on which court you go to. Yeah, you never thought you'd have to say that about First Amendment rights in this country. This week was supposed to be about other things. We are still careening toward another government shutdown. The budget hasn't been resolved. The Epstein files remain covered up. I mean, there's still actual work to be done in D.C., and I'm betting you're going to say very little progress was made on any of it this week.
Yeah, no, the government shutdown we're barreling towards in a little under 2 weeks. At this point, I'd put money on the fact that it's going to happen. You have Republicans who have no interest in negotiating, even though they need Democratic votes. You have Democrats who are sort of on the same page, but not exactly presenting a really strong argument. So it's just a mess.
There will be a lot to cover over these next couple of weeks. And we, again, now, as the Courier staff grows and the team grows, we'll have Cam Stevenson coming from Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill, every Tuesday for us, and Kia Vakil helping us wrap up the week on Fridays. Kia, thank you as always for everything. Glad you're home safe. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Back with today's history lesson in just a moment. You're up north.
You're listening to 92.7 WMDX, Madison's home for the Todd Allball Show, weekday afternoons from 2 to 4.
Wisconsin corn growers have seen rust in the past, but a new type of rust could be costing you yield this year. I'm Pam Yankee, starting you off before the opening bell on a finally Friday morning. Quick look at what's happening in agribusiness news. Rust has forced the harvest along in states like Nebraska, South Dakota, and now it's showing up in Wisconsin cornfields. Chad Stoutinger is a regional agronomist with Dairyland Seeds, and he explains why this rust is different than what many Wisconsin farms have encountered in the past.
Southern rust came in from Mexico basically and blew up to this portion of the U.S. this year in some storm events in early spring. So it brought a new disease here. And so it mimics common rust, except that it's much more intense. It can shut down whole plants very quickly. It loves hot weather, hot heat and humidity, so above 77 degrees in humid conditions, which we had a lot of. Thankfully, in eastern Wisconsin, I don't think the impact is going to be yield limiting, but if we move to other parts of the state, it definitely is.
Chad Stoutinger is a regional agronomist with Dairyland Seed who's been observing this southern type of rust, and it could impact the harvest pace of Wisconsin farm fields. Might want to check in with your agronomist and see what their advice is. My advice on a Friday morning, if you're watching the markets right now, not bad.
With corn rootworm costing farmers up to $1 billion a year, you need the right strategy. Introducing Durastack trait technology, featuring 3 powerful modes of action to strike corn rootworm at full force, outsmart, outmaneuver, and outmatch their every move with the industry's first triple BT protein stack built for corn rootworm control. Take back your yield potential. Make your move at Durastack.com. Available for the 2027 season.
It doesn't matter how a hybrid or variety performs across the country, or even in the next town over. At Golden Harvest, we know local results start with local expertise. Like knowing that diner on Main Street has the best slice of pie, or knowing the matchup every Friday night. It takes someone who truly knows your acres and will be there every step of the way to make sure you see results. Learn more at goldenharvestseeds.com.
Barrel cheese was unchanged yesterday in Chicago. 40-pound block cheese dropped 1/4 cent to 168 1/4, while the AA butter dropped 1/2 to 180 1/2 per pound. October class 3 milk that goes into cheese this morning up 6, 17.51. November's up 16, 17.15. Right now, December corn is up 3 at 4.26. November beans up 6, currently at 10.43. July new crop wheat, 1.5 higher, stands at 5.65 a bushel currently. That's just a quick snapshot of where the numbers stand. Rolling into a finally Friday trade session. More news anytime you want it, plus podcasts at MidwestFarmReport.com. I'm Pam Yankee.
92.7 WMDX, Madison's real news and great conversation, and home to the Todd Allball Show, Monday through Friday from 2 to 4.
Where's Greg? Where's Greg?
Mostly cloudy and still warm with highs.
He's right there. What are you talking about?
Wow. How does he do that?
That timing was actually incredible.
Yep. That's so cool.
I don't hear you.
No, he hasn't brought N2 up there, so I'm waiting to see that.
Right.
Unless he's in N2, and that's where he's talking from. There he is. Good morning.
It was one button, one stupid button.
Happy Friday, buddy.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh.
Here we go.
Greg, can you bring up your mic a little bit? I've got you. Well, okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's better.
You mean bring it up volume or to my face?
Volume, please.
Okay. How about now?
Right.
Keep going.
I can't go much further.
That's so weird. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
He's good.
So,
The people have spoken. Greg.
Pretty
Hello. Hello. Greg is here.
Oh.
20 seconds.
rain falling, seems I hear your voice calling. It's all right.
Oh, today's history lesson. We start with Brooke Benton, or Greg Bach doing his best. Brooke Benton. Brooke Benton, born this day in 1931. He had several R&B hits in the 50s and 60s. He actually put 50 songs on the Billboard charts as a singer or songwriter, but then he had a comeback hit in 1970 with Rainy Night in Georgia. Listen to this.
I feel like it's raining all
I could listen to that voice. Here we go. Listen to this.
Neon signs flashing.
Come on.
Taxi cabs and buses passing through the night.
All right, I'm done admiring singers for the morning. Here's Greg Bach. Greg, how are you?
I'm doing well, man.
Hey, there we go.
Here for the show and talk about musical memories.
There.
Oh, yeah.
All right. You got any big plans for the weekend?
No, not really.
Good. I love hearing that.
Yeah. Honestly, like I'm thinking because, I'm gonna try. If the weather is handling itself, I'm gonna try to do some stuff out in the yard and kind of start to wind those projects down. But if not, then I'm gonna sit and hang out with my wife and my dog.
Always fun to do, Let's see. I'm supposed to ask Tony. Asks if you're still using your CPAP machine and how you're feeling.
Oh, good Lord. Of course I am. I use it every. Here's the thing is, if I don't use it, it's because I've fallen asleep and I didn't get a chance to put it on. But it is a part of the every night experience.
Very nice.
Very important.
Samesies. Thank you.
Good.
You guys, your good sleep.
Yeah. On this day in 1796, George Washington delivered his farewell address. On this day in 1982 was the first documented use of emoticons, which was simply a smiley face made with a colon and a dash and a parentheses. And it was used on the Carnegie Mellon University bulletin board system. Because apparently nobody thought to do that on a typewriter. I'm calling BS on that one.
I don't like the hyphen for the nose. That makes me a little uncomfortable.
Well, that's because you see young kids like you grew up in this era where emoticons, I mean, you get the whole emoji. It's animated, like the little face winks at you and everything. Back in our day, we just had to type a colon and a dash and a parentheses. And that was all we got. That's all we got for choices.
Colon parentheses. That's where I stand.
Oh, okay. Just don't want the note. You're anti-nose.
I'm anti.
Your nose.
You just type in the letter. I'm smiling at you right now, which is very weird.
I just type out laughing out loud.
Yeah.
And everybody knows what I'm talking about.
I send a voice note of me laughing.
Let's go to 1960, 65 years ago today. The number one song was by Chubby Checker. That song had some staying power. It came up the charts again 2 years later. It would become the first single ever to hit number one 2 different times. Probably because it's the only dance most of us can do. Just swivel your hips, bend your knees.
He's got Let's Twist Again, the twist,
yes,
slow
the peppermint
twisting,
twist. Yeah,
the peppermint twist.
Oh yeah,
he has a lock on the twist-based economy when it comes to music.
The twist-based economy. Yeah, you ride that horse until it can't run no more. Yep, good for him. On this day in 1893, New Zealand became the first country to grant all women the right to vote. Happy birthday to singer Bill Medley from the Righteous Brothers. He is 85 years old today. Talk about singers with deep voices. So Bill Medley and the late Bobby Hatfield formed the Righteous Brothers. Bill Medley grew up listening to Ray Charles, Little Richard, and B.B. King. In fact, the term blue-eyed soul was coined by a Philadelphia DJ to describe the sound of Bill Medley and Bobby Hatfield.
Wow.
And Medley said the name Righteous Brothers came from a group of black Marines at the El Toro base who liked their style and referred to them as Righteous Brothers. Here's the thing about Bill Medley. He just turned 85.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, as an 84-year-old, he released his latest album. He's still recording albums.
God, I've done nothing with my life. All right.
Well, no, hang on, Greg. This might be awful. We don't know. Is this a good album?
Why would you say that about an 85-year-old music legend? It's not awful.
We have already talked about how some of the guys have to hang them up, and they don't hang them up. They still do. I'm just saying.
This just in, Parker hates old people doing music.
I would like to write my formal apology to the FCC.
Yes, please, before we get yanked here. You upset an old white guy. You're in trouble now, pal.
Topical.
All right. Greg, I'm going to play from this next birthday. I'm just going to ask Parker to start the music. Parker's moving around. Is there a mouse running around your feet? What's going on there?
Honest to God, I'm pretty sure a spider was just crawling up my leg.
I don't even know how to respond. You almost jumped up on the stool like in the cartoons when there's a mouse in the house and lift up your house dress.
Okay, I'm sorry. You want the song now?
As I was saying, Greg,
yes.
I'm going to have Parker, now that he's composed himself, play this next one, our next birthday boy. And I just want to see if you can, how long it takes you to guess who this is based on the guitar stylings and then the singing. So Parker, hit today's birthday boy.
Oh.
Now give it just a sec. Wait for the lead guitar here. It's about to come in. There we go. Now, if I tell you it's Chic, does that help?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Who are we talking about?
Nile Rodgers.
Nile Rodgers is 73 years old today, member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He was with Chic. Then he became a legendary record producer. His records have sold more than 500 million copies. Nile Rodgers is 73 today.
He's still amazing.
Yeah. I have not one, not two, but three notes here about the year 1970. It was on September 19th, 1970, that Diana Ross, after leaving the Supremes, got her first #1 solo hit. Parker, you got to hit the button here. I'm pointing at you. And you're
He's looking for the spider, Pat. He's looking for the spider.
There ain't no mountain high enough for Parker to get up and away from the spider.
Man, that FCC joke really came back to bite me quick. I didn't know they
something's
just like the spider.
Yes, but a bump. Okay, so there's Diana Ross with Ain't No Mountain High Enough, her first solo hit this day in 1970. Also on this day in 1970, again, we're back to doing series premieres here. The premiere of The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Oh.
And I didn't know whether we wanted to do a sing-along, Greg. Do Who Can Turn the World On with Her Smile? Let's see. And happy birthday to Frida Payne. The singer is 83 years old, and she had a 1970 hit, Band of Gold. Happy birthday to Trisha Yearwood, who turned 61 years old today. How long have she and Garth Brooks been married now? Boy, I bet that's...
I think like 10,
they've been
15
solid.
longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or as he refers to himself, Mr. Yearwood. I love that.
Mr. Yearwood, yes.
Let me see.
I
How
like
long
that.
have Garth and Trisha been married? I love that, Google. Thank you very much, Google. 19 years, almost 20 years.
Good for them. That's
Oh,
fantastic.
my goodness.
Right.
All right. There you go. Longer than I thought. Good.
Here's another birthday today. Jimmy Fallon is 51 years old today and still employed, at least for another day. You never know.
Yeah.
This day in 1985, you remember this one, Greg, when Tipper Gore and other political wives formed the Parents Music Resource Center to get labels on albums that had explicit language?
Yes.
Meanwhile, Frank Zappa, John Denver, and others testified at congressional hearings about obscenity and rock music.
Dee Snider.
Dee Snider as well. That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why you have labels, is because Al Gore's wife and others said we got to slap a label on these things.
And they fought it tooth and nail, and they really it was a big deal. And then what they come to find is that when you put the labels on the records, it would sell more.
Exactly. They figured that out. Like they stopped fighting it. We're like, okay, this will work. Yeah, sure. We'll put a label on everything. On this day in 1987, the Grateful Dead hit number 10 with Touch of Grey, their only song to hit the top 10 on the Hot 100. On this day in 1989, a new series began with Neil Patrick Harris as a teenage physician. That's right. Doogie Howser, MD, premiered this day in 1989 on ABC and is still around. Doogie Howser, or Neil Patrick Harris, he's got some staying power.
Absolutely. Well, he went away for a while. Everyone's like, "Oh, who's he?" And then he came back. And we're like, "Oh, we love him." It's always what happens.
Yes.
There's a star. They're amazing. We love them. We're sick of them. We say no, thank you, and then we act like we never saw them. And then we're like, "Oh my gosh, where did you go?" And they're like, "Yeah, you stopped booking me." So, also,
that's on you.
Two things. I feel like if you took a picture of Parker when he was younger, like he was 12, he would look very Doogie.
Oh, very
Howser-esque.
Doogie. Yes.
Yeah.
without
Also,
doubt.
Parker, there's a spider on your shoulder.
Holy cow.
Greg? Shaking in the boots here.
One more tune here. On this day in 1999, the Chicks became the first group in the history of the Billboard 200 album chart to have a country album debut at number 1 with the album Fly.
Yes.
Cowboy, take me away.
Fly not only had this song, Cowboy Take Me Away, it had Goodbye Earl, If I Fall, You're Going Down With Me, Ready to Run, and Sin Wagon. I'll still listen to that album front to back.
Yes, I was going to say, I love all of the Chicks' music. I celebrate their entire discography, but I think Fly may be a perfect album.
Oh, without a doubt. And and no wonder it debuted at number 1. They were riding a wave of popularity, and people took to that album right away.
Yeah.
On this day in 2011, one of those TV things that you don't know if it's going to work or not, Ashton Kutcher debuted on 2.5 Men, replacing Charlie Sheen. And it worked. It hung around for I think 4 more seasons.
Oh, really?
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a weird show.
And 1 year ago today, Shohei Ohtani created the 50-50 Club. He became the first player in baseball history to hit 50 home runs and steal 50 bases in a single season. That guy's better than you and me and everybody else who's ever
Yeah, but
played
the
baseball.
Brewers swept them.
Yeah. They can't take that away from us. Nope. Today is National Butterscotch Pudding Day. I haven't had butterscotch pudding since I was like 10 years old.
Wow.
Today is this is both Concussion Awareness Day and National Overthinkers Day. Coincidence?
Of course.
I don't know.
Wow.
And finally,
that's a real thinker.
It is a real thinker, yeah. And finally, Greg, it is National Talk Like a Pirate Day.
I bet you there's pirates who talk like me. Just like, hey guys, would you like to go plunder the booty over there? We'd like to get some.
I knew Greg was just not gonna go along with this.
We're gonna steal this ship and all its wares. And frankly, I don't like the misrepresentation of me in TV and films. Thank you very much. I may be a pirate, but I'm also a person.
I'd love to just hear him go, "Hey, you guys, we're taking over your ship." Okay.
Let me squeeze past you.
Let me squeeze past you here as we walk.
Hey, my name is Bluebeard. I'm here to take your stuff. Yeah.
Craig Bach, you can hear him on Matt and Air on Air weekdays 9 to 11, right after this program on the Civic Media Radio Network. Much more ahead in the next couple of hours of these mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Are we going to listen to this for a full minute, Pat?
Oh, no.
Wait, no, you don't. No, we're done.
No.
Oh. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we're done.
Parker.
Oh, my God. I thought it was the last segment. I'm so used to it being the last.
Happy Friday, everybody.
It's that spider that really did him in. It was like, he was doing fine.
Yep.
He was a fine graduated college man, and then all of a sudden the spider came along, and he's like, I can't tell time, and I don't know what's up and down.
Are you able to stick around and do some entertainment news?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Well, you know what I mean. Shush up.
I don't have anything better to do.
Well, actually,
Luke, problems with the show clocks?
Is that what he said?
Yes.
Yep, of course. Yeah. Of course he's there. There he is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Let's see.
My fault.
He knew. Hey Parker. He knew that.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't care who you are. That was funny. Oh. By the way, how is the forgive me for asking with everybody listening in on Facebook, but anything new in the comedy club search?
Nope.
Okay.
Hopefully sooner than later, but yeah, at this point, nothing new to report.
Okay. Fingers crossed.
Oh boy.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special.
Oh,
It's where we're taught resilience.
Google signed me out on the laptop.
Oh.
School sports are to I can.
This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Make every day extraordinary with something special from Wisconsin. From artisan cheeses to fresh produce to maple syrup, the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade and Consumer Protection's Something Special from Wisconsin program is proud to work with member businesses that certify their Wisconsin-made and processed products. Look for the red and yellow sticker and visit somethingspecialfromwisconsin.com to find member businesses and products made with care,
30
quality,
seconds.
and love. Sponsored by Wisconsin DA.
On behalf of Civic Media, we'd like to apologize to the spider that caused such disruption that we couldn't even go into the commercial break without busting out. Did you ever find the little bugger? Turn your microphone on, Parker.
And I forgot to turn my mic. I am.
You are having a day.
Wow.
It's just
if there's anybody listening in the Madison studio, please bring Parker some chamomile tea.
we're gonna call the day. We're just gonna end this whole show right now.
Whistle! Whistle!
There we
Thank
go.
you. There we go. Yes, we have the Roy Kent coffee mug. It is Friday. Shall we? Well, let's first do the what's that thing called? Free Ticket Friday. See, it's happening over here too. Free Ticket Friday. Let's get that keyword out there. You could win 4 tickets to see the Brewers against Cincinnati next Friday night. Text us the keyword blue, BLUE, like the color. Text blue until 9 o'clock. Greg, would you hazard a guess that you'll have a keyword as part of Matt and Air on Air, a different keyword later on?
Oh, most definitely. We will have a keyword for you at when we're on the air. We're on from 9 to 11. We generally, we like to tease it a little bit. But yes, just like with Pat's show today, this morning, when we give you our keyword, you're going to pull out the Civic Media app and you're going to text it in via the Civic Media app. Remember, spelling counts.
Yes, it does. BLUE, blue is the keyword until 9 o'clock this morning. All right, I got my Harvey Levin oversized mug here. Let's pretend that this is the TMZ newsroom as Parker pitches the entertainment story of the day. Parker, what have you got?
Star Wars Starfighter. Aren't you so excited, Pat? We got a new Star Wars movie coming out, and it's star-studded, which is really weird for Star Wars. It has Ryan Gosling starring in it.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That makes
Ryan
me,
Gosling in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's also got a bunch of others too.
And is that the name of it, Starfighter?
Yeah, Starfighter.
Yes.
It takes place like 5 years after the most recent trilogy. And
So 5 years after Rise of Skywalker?
yes.
Okay, all right. That's what they're doing now with some of these properties. They're doing like it's 5 years after Return of the Jedi. It's 5 years after. Well, also it's a long time ago. So 5 years means nothing in Star Wars world.
In a galaxy far, far away, where time is a flat circle. What's 5 years anyway?
Where they can conjure the science to fly through space and have laser weapons. They're like, when did this take place? Long time ago.
Mm-hmm. You
Far
got
away.
Alicia's attention. She's like, "What? Ryan Gosling?"
Mm-hmm.
I assume that is a good thing that she's expressing. Here's hoping, but a new Star Wars, she says. "Eee, okay, so maybe not so much the Ryan Gosling, maybe yes on the Star Wars. Okay,
Yeah.
so all right, so we'll get a feel for where people are on a star-studded Star Wars starfighter. Is this something that is just getting going in production, or have they already shot it and we know when it's coming out?
It is in production, I think, right now. I saw
Mhm.
a picture of Ryan Gosling
Yeah.
on set, and it feels as weird as you would think it would feel for him to be in a Star Wars
I don't
costume.
know what you're talking about. There's a lot of Star Wars movies and TV shows with stars in it, with known actors.
I was going to say from the beginning, Alec Guinness, as Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original movie.
He
he
was
was
a huge star.
yeah.
He
I
made
guess that
$95 million off of that movie from the back end deal he did with the points. Whew.
He's a smart Jedi.
Hey.
All right. What else we got?
What else we got? Well, Stephen Colbert made a little pitch to potential employers while he was at the Emmys. He brought a headshot, and he asked if Harrison Ford could get the headshot to Steven Spielberg and maybe get some jobs lined up for him.
Ooh, Stephen Colbert is the next Indiana Jones.
No, I don't think I'm not getting that one.
All right.
I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll workshop it maybe. So what do we think between Stephen Colbert, now Jimmy Kimmel, and Jon Stewart? Do we think that any of them are coming back to like a network TV show, or might we see some kind of like an independent project going forward? Greg, if you were, especially, let's take Jimmy Kimmel out of it because Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart have more of a history together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what are the odds that they don't just say, well, I guess we're retired, we'll cash the checks, as opposed to coming back with something?
I think that Jon Stewart likes his gig at The Daily Show right now. He only has to work 1 day a week.
Yeah.
And I think Stephen Colbert still has something in him. I think he still has something to say. I don't know if it'll be, I know it can easily be a podcast because that's just the easiest pivot, but I'd like to see him on television. There's something about Stephen Colbert, especially on network television, it still has some push for me personally, but I think the easiest thing for Colbert to do is say, all right, pack it up, pack it in, and here we go. We're going to go start a podcast.
Yeah. Alicia writes, wait, what? Has Jon Stewart been canceled too? No. I just meant because Jon Stewart's only working that 1 day a week that, maybe they could do something. Tony puts up no more corporate media. Well, I mean, yeah, the mega corporations. I, for one, am happy to be working with the corporate media that is Civic Media. That's a fine corporation, a public benefits corporation, may I add, as well.
I really enjoy working for Civic Media and really all of its affiliates.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Stephen Colbert. You want one more entertainment story to close out the week?
Oh, sure. Did you realize that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are engaged yet? No, you didn't know that?
That's not your story. That's not your story.
No, it's not the story. It's not the
All
story.
right. What is the story?
Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, was asked if Taylor Swift might be a halftime show, and he said just maybe, which I think is kind of baffling.
Why, you think he was taking a dig at it, like she might not be good enough?
I think it's weird that she hasn't done one yet, given she's been a massive star for like decades.
But she kind of doesn't need it. I mean, she's had her own thing going on.
Also, the logistics of it all, I wouldn't be surprised if it just didn't work out. And also, I think that people would lose their minds if she did. Like there's such a weird like I need tough and cool for my halftime show.
Can you imagine though that if she was, and all these Swifties got tickets to the Super Bowl, but just for her? So like during the Super Bowl,
they just left.
They're all in the concourse and milling around and scrolling on their phones, and there's like half empty stands for the Super Bowl, and then they all come rushing back in for the halftime show. Yeah. And then after Taylor's done, out they go again. That would be an amazing scene. And it's exactly what would happen. That's why Tay-Tay is not doing the Super Bowl show. Greg Bach, we'll see you at 9 o'clock for Matt and Air on Air, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. I'd love it. Come on by.
All right. We'll be happy to.
Yeah.
You have a wonderful weekend. We've got our weekend review panel coming up right after the news. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. There. Are we Is this the right time? Are we out? Are we supposed to be out?
Right time.
We're
I
good?
feel like
Okay.
this is all my fault. This is all my fault. Like I show
Nope.
up and I just
Nope.
I just throw a fleck of sand into the machinery, and you're like, everyone's
Did
just.
you put the spider in the control room? I don't think so. So
True. Everyone's a tush over tea kettle here, and I don't know what to do with myself.
All right. Well, thank you for being part of our morning caffeine over here.
Of course, I'm here to.
You are caffeine in a lovable hairy form over there. So
that didn't feel like the compliment you wanted it to be.
that
Okay.
that didn't work. That didn't work at all. Okay. Bye.
Jacqueline. Bye, guys.
She's right over there. See you, Greg.
Today, the president also expected to speak with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. TikTok at the top of the agenda. The FDA's vaccine advisory panel will consider changes to the hepatitis B vaccine recommendations today. Thursday, the panel voted to split the measles, mumps, rubella, chickenpox vaccine into 2 shots and not be administered to children under age 4. This is ABC News.
You're listening to 92.7 WMDX, Madison's home for the Maggie Dawn Show, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. The encampment at Dairy Drive is closing. The resource first opened in 2021 using money from pandemic-era federal grants with 29 tiny home shelters. It gave people experiencing homelessness a stable place to stay and privacy. It was supposed to be temporary, and the city has extended the contract twice since then. But now that federal grant money has run out. The Dairy Drive encampment was set to close September 30th. There was a last-ditch effort to keep it open until the spring, and that measure was considered at Tuesday's Common Council meeting. More than 70 people registered to speak in support of extending it, including some residents of Dairy Drive.
My name is Stacy. Dairy Drive has provided me with a stable place to live. Even though it's not a 3-bedroom house, it's still my home, and it works for me. I'm able to have visitation with my son, where I can make him food, play basketball, and take him to the park. This place is show my kid how to care for each other.
It was a long night. Alders didn't vote until after 1 a.m, and the vote was tight. Ultimately, the measure failed by just 1 vote, and now Dairy Drive will be closing September 30th. And you can expect some major traffic in the Oregon and Brooklyn area tonight. About 13,000 people are expected to go see Luke Bryan at Klondike Farms in Brooklyn tonight. The show starts at 6 o'clock. The sheriff's office says if you're going, build in some extra time. If you're not going to the show, but you need to be in that area, they say you'll probably want to find a detour. The sheriff's office and other law enforcement agencies will be there directing traffic. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. This is 92.7 WMDX News.
Meet me in St. Louis. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with Sports Baseball. The Brewers in St. Louis tonight against the Cardinals. The Crew with a 5-2 win last night at home against the Angels. Christian Yelich, 2 for 4, driving in his 100th RBI of the season. Manager Pat Murphy.
It's quite an accomplishment for any player. Yelich, if you took the number of hard hit balls that were caught this year by Yelich over 100 and whatever miles an hour, you'd be astounded.
Milwaukee's magic number down to 4. The Angels losing their 7th in a row. Football, the Badgers host Maryland tomorrow. Kickoff 11 a.m. The Packers head to Cleveland to play the Browns Sunday at noon. The Lions, Commanders, and now the Browns all trying to stop Green Bay's ground game.
A lot of these teams that we play, we already know they're going to load the box. It's going to be 8 to 9 guys in there. Safety's going to be flowing hard. It just is what it is. It's what we got to expect. So we got to learn how to make adjustments from there.
That's Packers running back Josh Jacobs. With Sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Catch Farm Report updates throughout the day from the Midwest Farm Report, right here on 92.7 WMDX.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Bormans. Mostly cloudy and still warm with highs right around 80. Showers and a few thunderstorms developing later in the afternoon. Look for showers to be likely tonight, along with a few rumbles of thunder. It'll be a mild night again with low temperatures right around 60 degrees. Current temperature, 63.
This is Robert Pilot, host of Native Roots Radio. On our show, we talk about Native issues like treaties, protecting Mother Earth, and holding our elected officials accountable. You'll also hear from Turtle Island voices like Arvina Martin, State Representative Heather Keeler, Ruth Anna Buffalo, Dr. Anthony Stately, State Senator Mary Kunish, Robert Lilligren, and Bob Blake. Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Native Roots Radio, weeknights at 8 on your local civic media radio station.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals into
How's
your
Brittany today?
Pretty good. How are you?
It's so rainy. Just rainy, rainy. And we're just gonna sit here, isn't it? Just gonna sit here all weekend. All right. Well, now we know. 20 seconds.
Live across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here is the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Good morning. It is 7:06. It is nice to have you back here up north on a Friday morning. It is September 19th. 2025. Parker Olson's producing things down in Studio A2. Meteorologist Brittany Merlot is standing by. And so is our week in review panel, journalists Mark Jacob and Jennifer Schulze and former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel, to talk about the big stories of the week. And obviously, what is happening to our First Amendment in our corporate media is going to be a big part of this hour's discussions. In our next hour, Dr. Kristen Lyerly joins us along with Kate Duffy from Motherhood for Good, talking about a big diaper drive going on for a local diaper bank and how you can help out and how your donations can be doubled thanks to somebody who's going to be matching all of those gifts. And Mike Clemens will be along at 8:35 to talk all about the Brewers sweeping the Angels and now heading to St. Louis for a series against the Cardinals. And then they had out of the St. Louis series this weekend, they then head to, San Diego. That's right, for games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. And then they come home for the final homestand of the season next weekend against Cincinnati. And that gets us to Free Ticket Friday. This is the final Free Ticket Friday of the Brewers season. So you want that Civic Media app handy to send us the keyword I'm going to give you in just a little bit. And you can get 4 tickets to next Friday night's game versus Cincinnati. And it's our last Free Ticket Friday. So listen for that keyword. You'll have until 9 o'clock to text it in. And then more keywords throughout the day, more chances to enter. One of those drawings or one of those entries today will be drawn to win those 4 tickets to the game. Now let's give it to you now. It's blue, B-L-U-E. Text the keyword blue, like the color, before 9 a.m., and you will be in the running for those Brewers tickets on Free Ticket Friday. Now let's get to meteorologist Brittany Merlot, who is looking at a radar over the upper Midwest that just basically looks like an old cocktail napkin, and you put the cup of coffee on there or whatever, and it's just got these rings of a mess, and it's just these rings of rain all over the place, and you just don't know when it's going to rain, but you know you're on the napkin somewhere. Brittany,
I have never heard that comparison, and I love it. You've got me cracking up. I can't even think now. That's perfect.
Yes, I mean it is. You look at the napkin, you lift up the coffee cup, and you go, "Oh, maybe I should aim better when I'm pouring." But be that as it may, we got a mess across the Midwest.
We do. And this isn't even the low pressure system itself. This is still just a front wrapped through the state. But the winds are picking up. It's going to be a breezy day today, and that's going to continue into the weekend. Actually, we have a beach hazard statement on all the Lake Michigan shores through at least tomorrow. And we're also looking at Douglas County. You're going to see some of the bigger waves, potentially approaching about 10 feet high. So strong winds off the lake, strong winds inland as well, and a lot of rain on and off. It's becoming numerous now throughout the state, a little heavy at times, especially right now towards Hurley, Eau Claire, Park Falls. You're kind of getting in the mix of that. But this is going to be the case as we go through the next few days. What I'm thinking is we'll have a little break this afternoon and then more starts to ramp up later tonight, or it could be heavy in spots. We might get a little bit of a break tomorrow, but then Sunday it looks to get heavy as well, and potentially into Monday too, where we could see a front setting up across southeastern parts of the state, where it could just start to downpour, maybe 2 inches, 3 inches in some spots. But widespread, we're really looking at about a half an inch to an inch by the time this weekend is said and done. Really depends on if your town gets underneath multiple thunderstorms or not. This is a messy system. It has honestly been one of the hardest ones to forecast, to be honest with you. But the good news is I don't see any severe weather in it. I just see some heavy rainfall potentially. So breezy, wet, dark and dreary this weekend. Don't forget the umbrella. I actually made a post on Facebook. I want pictures of your umbrellas. I just started thinking this morning, there's got to be an array of colors and designs and things. And if you get caught in the rain, I want to see a video too.
Yes, there are absolutely so many umbrellas. That's a great idea.
I wonder
All
if
right.
there are
There you
umbrellas
go.
that look like Pat's shirt.
Right?
Oh, the one day I don't wear a plaid or a flannel shirt, and now it's being used as fodder for umbrellas. No, it's got little palm trees on it. It's fine. Let's see what's in the mailbag here. First off from Alicia. Ooh, what's with the honeycomb design on the shirt? All right, moving on here. From Roger and Stevens Point. Good morning. As the bells echo from St. Peter's Church, I tuned into the game that Chad Holmes called last night, Wausau East at Mosinee. The game had a 1 hour, 40-minute rain delay with a thunderstorm. Mosinee won 35-7 as the game went final at almost 11 p.m. Chad Holmes puts in some long days. Let's see. I know that we've got Robin Tigerton here. There he is. Good morning from Tigerton. Cloudy and 59 he puts on YouTube. Yesterday, I was busy mowing 5 yards in Tigerton. Yesterday, when you were all talking about pizza, I had a supreme pizza at Blazers Bar and Grill in Split Rock. And he notes that the Tigerton sunsets are rapidly coming before 7 o'clock. 6:58 is what he says sunset's going to be in Tigerton. He said last night around Lake Dubay area, north of Stevens Point, had 2.5 inches of rain. Tigerton, 0.2 of an inch of rain overnight. He said, we do need the rain. It was the first in 10 days. And so that much rain is needed. And he also says he does not have an umbrella. Whereas Alicia puts on there.
Info.
I know. Alicia says, ooh, I've got a rainbow umbrella that I bought at Fox Valley Pride. So there you go. So get them sent in. And I mean, do you subscribe to the whole theory of, opening an umbrella inside is bad luck, or can people open their umbrella inside to make the video or the photo? Or would you rather they be outside? Okay.
I wouldn't do that. I would be outside with it. Outside's better. Come on.
Look at you being all superstitious.
But if it's stored inside and you're not going anywhere and it's just sitting there, you can just send a picture of it just sitting there. That's fine.
Okay, that'll work. Thank you, Brittany. We'll talk to you next hour.
Have a good day.
Hey, remember you can sign. Where'd that go? Come back here. Remember, you can sign up for our newsletter, upnorthnewswi.com. We've got a weekday version. We've got a weekend version with the Sunday morning question of the week that I put together. The weekday one is put together by Ellie, our new Newswatch newsletter editor, and she talks as well about the diaper drive that we're going to be discussing an hour from now with Kate Duffy from Motherhood for Good. So you've certainly got a story there of ways that you can help us out. And there's also a story here about a Lake Michigan shipwreck that has been uncovered after 139 years. So learn more about that in our newsletter. Sign up for it at upnorthnewswi.com. In the news, there is a report that Congressman Tom Tiffany might be on the verge of announcing a run for governor. It's not an announcement that's coming from him. It came from Wisconsin College Republicans. Yesterday, they tweeted out a flyer advertising a very special event in Wausau hosted by Tom Tiffany coming up next Wednesday, September 24th. Multiple Republicans in the state told the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel that Tiffany is planning to officially jump into the 2026 governor's race next week. I mean, I'm still not thoroughly convinced because, again, putting your name out there is a great way to do fundraising and build name ID. And in the end, he could say, this just isn't the right time for me. But thanks for all of you who've been writing checks recently. So, again, I'll believe it when I hear it. Although it would be great news for Wisconsin Republicans because right now they have two relative unknowns who are running in Washington County Executive Josh Schoeman and Waukesha County business owner Bill Berrien. And so while Tom Tiffany is far better up north in the 7th Congressional District, his name, of course, has come up in countless conversations because Republicans are desperately seeking a rare win in state elections. You would get the impression that Republicans were dominant in Wisconsin to look at the legislature, but that, of course, was based on maps that were gerrymandered for over a decade. If you look at statewide elections, there have been 18 statewide elections dating back to 2018. And of those 18 statewide elections, the Democratic or the progressive candidate has won 15 of those 18 state elections. Now, there will be a primary, of course, both for the Democrats and the Republicans for the governor's race. There will be races next year for lieutenant governor, attorney general, treasurer, secretary of state. But with a wide open governor's race, Republicans are looking for somebody who has name ID. And so it is quite possible, though I would say not a certainty yet, that Tom Tiffany could get into the race in the middle of next week. Coming up this weekend, we're going to hear more about a Republican plan that would make some big changes about elections and ballot drop boxes. That note is coming from WISN TV ahead of their Sunday show Up Front. They will be interviewing Republican State Representative Scott Krug. He's the Assembly Majority Leader. He's the Vice Chair of the Assembly Elections Committee. And it starts off with some good news. The Republican proposal that's about to be unveiled would finally allow the processing of absentee ballots the day before Election Day. That's something that should have been done a long time ago. It's not counting the ballots. That happens on Election Day. But it's a process to get the envelopes, open up the envelope. Well, first verify the envelopes against the voter list, then open them up and get them set. And then you can feed them, the next day. Whereas if you're doing it day of, it stretches the process out. And frankly, Republicans haven't fixed it because they like that it's stretched out. They like that sometimes the results don't come in until after midnight because of big cities like Milwaukee, Green Bay, Racine, Kenosha, and elsewhere. And they can say, oh, there must be something suspicious going on with these ballots coming out late at night. Well, now Republicans say they are willing to pass a bill that would begin processing absentee ballots the day before. Of course, there's always a catch. And so the bill would mandate new, quote, security measures for drop boxes, including 24-hour surveillance video of each drop box that must be live streamed on the municipality's website. Ballots would also need to be transferred under the supervision of a law enforcement officer, and the legislation would penalize clerks who correct errors on absentee ballot requests. In other words, this is going after a fly with a sledgehammer. This is overkill to the umpteenth degree here. Surveillance video on every drop box that has to be live streamed on the municipality website. I'll say it again. There is already a penalty for mail fraud. If you use the mail fraudulently, you're going to get in trouble. Do we put 24-hour cameras on every mailbox? Does the city of Chippewa Falls have to have a website showing the webcams of every mailbox? No. Same goes for absentee ballot drop boxes. I'm up here in the town of Eagle Point. It has a beautiful old town hall. You're telling me that this town and every other township that wants an absentee ballot drop box now has to go through the expense of a live stream 24-hour camera and has to have a law enforcement officer there to transfer the ballots? Once again, these Republican legislators are teasing you by saying, hey, we're willing to make elections go a little bit more smoothly, processing those absentee ballots, but here's some strings attached. And they're not even strings. These are ropes. These are chains. This is a non-starter. But it's been pretty par for the course lately when it comes to Republicans managing elections. Our week in review panel is coming up. Our keyword before 9 a.m. for Free Ticket Friday for Brewers tickets to next Friday's game against the Cincinnati Reds is blue. Text blue, BLUE, before 9 a.m. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Why can't you just pass a clean bill? Why? Why is this so hard? All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. Billy, appreciate the insults and the obscenities. That's a great way to get blocked by E. Because we don't have to play that game here. All right, let's see. From listener Jim Santel, we've got Sonia Sotomayor bemoaning the lack of basic civics. Also, Trump asking the Supreme Court to permit him to fire the Federal Reserve governor with a new term starting in 2 weeks. We got voting rights and other things on the docket. These seem like interesting things. We should have Jim Santel on the program. There he is now.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
Oh, there you are. How you doing?
I'm doing well. The world spins sometimes in an appropriate way, right? Not always.
We think we might be close. Hi, Jennifer.
Good morning.
Hi, Mark.
How you doing?
We think we might be close. Instead of how you doing, we're thinking maybe with going with how's the dumpster fire where you are, or something.
Or how hard was it to get out of bed this morning?
I like that one. I like that one too. Yep. Or maybe
that's how I feel today.
Let's keep it away from stuff. Let's keep it personal, and maybe we just greet everybody with "How's your health?" or something like, or "What'd you have for breakfast?" Anything else would do. So, okay. Let's see. 45 under 45 seconds now, and we will get things rolling. So stand by. Our esteemed Week in Review panel is coming up right after we talk a bit about what they're all up to these days. You can get from Jennifer Schulze her newsletter on Substack called Indistinct Chatter. Search for News Jennifer. Her latest issue says it does no one any good for Charlie Kirk's life to be sane-washed or for reporters to rush to publish unverified info. From Mark Jacob, who's got Stop the Presses at stopthepresses.news and couriernewsroom.com, talks about media timidity from some cowardly journalists after the Charlie Kirk murder. And of course, former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel has Amicus, a law review, every Saturday starting at 9 a.m. on Civic Media radio stations around Wisconsin. Learn more at civicmedia.us. Jennifer, Jim, Mark, good morning.
Good morning.
See ya. I'm getting better. I'm just saying good morning. I'm not saying good morning. How are you? Because then there's that uncomfortable thing after that. So we'll just stick with good morning. So here we are. I feel like, this segment got started with just, Mark came on board and I thought, well, let's get some friends here to join in with us. But every so often, I just want to go back to the way that it was in the beginning, because I just know all I have to do is say something and it's like pulling a string. Mark, ABC capitulated to Donald Trump, and they basically are. I'm sure Jimmy Kimmel's not coming back the way things are looking right now. What do you think? I'm going to go get some breakfast. I'll be back in a while. The floor is yours. You let her loose, Mark.
Well, look, the real problem is corporate media. It's the it's people, big corporations who own a lot of different businesses that many of which have nothing to do with journalism, but they happen to own media outlets as well. Therefore, because they're scared of Trump sabotaging their other interests, they're willing to sacrifice their media outlet or the legitimacy of it in order to satisfy the would-be dictator. And so that's why they are so quick to capitulate, to throw millions of dollars at Trump and to do what they did to Kimmel. And there's this self-censorship going on now in media, where people get fired for saying perfectly reasonable things, just to maybe they think it's almost like the Aztecs, throwing people into the fire to sacrifice them to the gods. I mean, there is this kind of idea that if the media punishes its own, then the dictator will be satisfied. Well, and the truth is, the dictator's never satisfied. The dictator wants more and more always.
I saw this going in a lot of directions. I did not have Aztec sacrifice on my bingo card.
I'm going to Mexico soon, so I'm really thinking Aztecs.
This is why we've got him here. Jennifer, I mean, again, equally shocking that we're at that point where it's not even like a suspension. It is, bending the knee in record time.
Yeah, really. It is absolutely incredible how this happened, but not at all surprising. Remember that Trump said after Colbert's show was not renewed, he said on social media, Kimmel is next. And he has been attacking Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert for years. So this is, I'm sure, maybe it wasn't written down in Project 2025, but it was part of the revenge plan. And I don't think he's going to stop there. He said, the NBC late night comedians should be fired next. So, I think this is going to keep going. I don't know who's going to stop it, but it's a really bad place for us to be.
Here's who would normally stop it: an independent Federal Communications Commission. Right. But Jim Santel, I mean, we know what the law that set up the FCC would do in a perfect world, but from a legal standpoint, we're in a different kind of area when you have an FCC commissioner who is just an outright toady to the sitting president.
And it's contrary to the congressional intent, right? We've got all these agencies, FCC among them. Oh, by the way, the Federal Reserve is out there also being attacked, Consumer Product Safety Commission, all kinds of things. They're established by the Congress. They are not sitting around the president's cabinet table. He does not have authority over them. And yet, yes, appointments are often made, and there's no doubt about that. But the concept by Congress was independence. You don't want political decision-making going on at these agency levels. And again, up to now, the Supreme Court in many of these cases has said, all right, even while we're litigating that underlying issue, which has been resolved, we know the president does not have authority in these areas. We'll let you go ahead and fire people, let you go ahead and frankly, encourage exactly the kind of thing that the Congress prohibited, which was partisan perspective, doing things that are on the agenda of a particular political party. It is completely antithetical, regardless of what your political views are, Republican, Democrat, somewhere in between. This is not the way our administrative strategy was set up and our structure was set up to operate in this way.
No, not at all. And Mark, I mean, we'll get more into this after the break, but I mean, where do we go from here? I mean, we do have people like just a minute ago, Adam put up, I immediately canceled my Disney Plus subscription. I love Disney's content, but I need to speak with my wallet. And there are plenty of people doing that. From more of a big picture standpoint, are we relatively just tied up until the midterms and maybe there's a change in Congress?
Well, that's part of it. I mean, because Congress is letting all this happen. I mean, they've pretty much just surrendered all of their duty to the American people. Mm-hmm. But I really think, acting with your wallet is the way to go. I mean, why are these big corporations complying with Trump's fascism? For money, because they think democracy won't make them as much money as this will. And it's all bottom line stuff. So why not hit him with the bottom line? So yeah, I'm for boycotts. I think that's the way to go. The other thing that really strikes me about this, Pat, is the idea that Trump hates government regulation, supposedly.
Oh yeah.
Yet the FCC is doing way more regulating and climbing into our business than it ever did before.
It's like they hate red tape. Oh, we hate red tape but we sure know how to impose it when we want to. We'll have more with our week in review panel coming up after the break. Again, blue is our keyword for Free Ticket Friday for Brewers tickets. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Every time you think you've seen it all.
Yeah, I was so depressed when I heard the Jimmy Kimmel thing because they really can. That's the president ordering somebody off TV. That's really what that is.
Right. And it is very much what we've seen in other countries where you don't actually go after the journalists first. I mean, you kind of do symbolically,
right.
But you materially go after the comedians first.
Right.
And this is what we've come to here. All right. Jennifer, you have, I guess we can get back to sane washing Charlie Kirk. And that's the other thing that's being kind of lost in all this is, people defending somebody who is indefensible.
Right.
And
on that point too, it's actually in the law. It's been written about him. I'm going to say something that's very obvious. You can believe two things at once, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can believe an assassination is horrific and tragic and terrible, and that the person who was assassinated has said and encouraged some absolutely unacceptable things in his or her life. Those two things do not have to be mutually exclusive. This notion, once again, that in America, you got to be in one camp or the other, and I've got to say one thing, and that's it, and nothing else. I can believe two independent things with absolute credibility at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I hadn't seen the Sonia Sotomayor stuff, so I was just looking at the headlines here now.
Right. She bemoans, for what it's worth, she also bemoans social media, one of the largest causes of misinformation on the internet. Okay,
Well, the algorithms are feeding a lot of this Jimmy Kirk stuff. Jimmy Kirk, oh my God, listen to me.
See?
Charlie Kirk stuff, and I mean, this is we don't have moderation anymore. No content moderation.
That's the thing. Content moderation. Yes. Excellent point. Yep. All right. Back in just under 3 minutes.
Montgomery says, automation will affect manual labor jobs. It's also creating demand for high-tech skills in artificial intelligence, data analysis, and technology management. And she wants UW Platteville students to be ready.
What makes Dairyland Seed silage unique? Better. Designed specifically to maximize tonnage potential in the upper Midwest, Dairyland Seed silage products contain higher starch content and the highest level of fiber digestibility for optimized milk production. And to help get even more milk in the tank, these elite genetics are supported by your dedicated local dealer and direct access to a team of leading agronomists and silage experts. Better silage, better support, better results. That's the Dairyland Seed difference. Meet our 2025 lineup at dairylandseedsilage.com.
And Randy Romansky, our Wisconsin Secretary of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection, has also been named president of the Midwestern Association of State Departments of Agriculture. The announcement came during their national meeting in Arkansas this month. That's a look at food news on a Friday. I am Farm Director Pam Yankee.
You're listening to 92.7 WMDX, Madison's home for the Todd Allball Show, weekday afternoons from 2 to 4.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Bormans. Mostly cloudy and still warm with highs right around 80. Showers and a few thunderstorms developing later in the afternoon. Look for showers to be likely tonight, along with a few rumbles of thunder. It'll be a mild night again with low temperatures right around 60 degrees. Right now, it's 64 degrees.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba.
Frank Herman's. When we moved here, I called the Y because my daughter was 7 years old. I said, hey, I'm calling about your beginner's gymnastics class. I'm 40 years old. I've never had a gymnastics class. So do you think I should start there? Frank, I get nothing. On the other end, it's just silence. Even after she knew I was kidding. You should tape that. Come on. And I did take the class, and I did really well.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. Weeknights from 6 till 8 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the Civic Media app.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma.
30 seconds.
Coming up Monday on the program, we'll be talking to State Senator Kelda Roys, who announced at the start of this week that she is a candidate for governor. So we'll talk to her Monday about her entering the gubernatorial race for 2026. Then on Wednesday, in our homeroom segment, we will talk to Dr. Jill Underly, State Superintendent of Public Instruction. Yesterday, she gave her State of Education address and said that the first thing we try to teach our school kids is to stand up to bullies. And right now, the biggest bully in education is this federal government. So we'll talk to Jill Underly about that coming up next Wednesday here on the program. We do want you texting in the word blue. That's our keyword for Free Ticket Friday. But while you're at the Civic Media app, there is that text feature to text us things like the word blue or comments or questions. But there's also a voice note feature. If you use that button instead, you can record a little audio message to us that we can listen to or that we could even play back on the radio. So check that out through the Civic Media app. Former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel is here, along with journalist Jennifer Schulze and Mark Jacob. Nice to have you back here for this week's Week in Review panel. And Jennifer, we'll start with you because we've already discussed the pulling of Jimmy Kimmel in response to, allegedly in response to things that he said. And by the way, if any of you missed that in the last segment, subscribe to us as a podcast over at Spotify, and you'll never miss any of these segments. But what it risks doing here with this Jimmy Kimmel thing is we're now focused on the way the First Amendment is essentially being trashed by corporate media. And I think that only fits the ongoing, what you and I would call sane washing of Charlie Kirk's record, that people are being made to feel afraid to speak the truth about this guy. And it is more important than ever to, as I said before, we're not going to do the deification of Charlie Kirk on this program.
I think we are in a perfect storm. The years of demonizing the media and, embracing alternate facts, or did she say alternative facts, we're seeing the absolute impact of that right now. Facts do not matter. If you utter Charlie Kirk's name and you're not the right person doing that, there is a mob coming after you for your job. They're coming, they're sending threats. It is a remarkable time in American history. You cannot say anything that the mob does not like, or you risk everything. And people are being fired for saying really pretty mild stuff. And there's a myth, I think, out there that people are celebrating and people are, demonizing. And surely there is some of that because the internet is a big place. But the impression you might get from that is that it's Democratic politicians, that it's, leaders of the opposition from, well-known groups. It is not. But it is so consumed everybody and everything that up is down and down is up. It is an incredible thing.
It's what I always say about, Ronald Reagan's welfare queens. There will always be at least one person gaming the system. And there will always be one immigrant who's committing a crime. And even if that's the only one, if you blow that up, people are going to think that's what everybody is doing. And that's what they're doing now with people who are not even criticizing Charlie Kirk, Mark Jacob. They're simply repeating his words back. And now you have from Congressman Derek Van Orden becoming a modern day Joseph McCarthy. You have, as Jennifer refers, this mob that begins at the very top with essentially a mob boss in the White House unleashing this mob, something that he's got experience doing.
Right. Well, I mean, it's clear that the right wing is looking for excuses to become even more authoritarian than it already is. And so I mean, they're just looking for pretexts. I mean, it's the whole, if people need to understand what the Reichstag fire was in Germany, and that was when somebody, it's still not even clear who, set the parliament on fire. Now, the Nazis reacted by getting rid of all civil rights and creating a dictatorship. So, and I'm not saying, I'm not making a one-to-one comparison with MAGA and Nazis, although I'd stop making any comparison if they'd stop acting like that. But what I'm saying is that they look for pretexts. Fascists look for pretexts. They want excuses to do terrible things. And the Kirk thing, which was a terrible act by a confused young man, is their pretext. And that's a thing. As Jennifer pointed out, 2 months ago, Trump was posting about getting rid of Jimmy Kimmel. It's not that it didn't have anything to do with Charlie Kirk, not a thing. That's just a pretext.
Yeah, exactly. And you have in this growing mob, Jim Santel, you have people who are, we've gone from support to allegiance to blind faith, and they are starting to lose sight of things like the difference between a king and a president. And that was a theme echoed this week by a sitting Supreme Court justice.
Sonia Sotomayor is in New York City at the NYU Law School. It's Constitution Day on Wednesday. We all celebrated that, right? Way back in 1787. A couple of years later, we passed a thing in the first Congress saying, yes, indeed, there's freedom of the press, freedom of speech. Gosh, those were the days, right? So Sonia Sotomayor is in New York, and she's talking all about these things, and she is saying, bemoaning the fact that Americans may no longer have a real clear civics understanding of how these things work, how the meanings of the Constitution, those words, do in fact have some significance. She also takes appropriately a shot at lawyers, which I appreciate. She says, I think the thing that gets me every time I listen to a lawyer-trained representative saying we should criminalize free speech, in the same way, I think to myself, that law school has failed. If any student who becomes a lawyer hasn't been taught, school has failed. And again, not only is there cynicism by this president and others in Washington and other places around the country, but it's so cynical because it relies upon the incapacity of Americans to understand how things work. And that's just not promoting institutional things. It's understanding what the First Amendment means. Not every single case. It's been decided for 200 years, but the fundamental trappings of it. That's what she is bemoaning, and she is saying that in the midst of an internet that permits you to post anything that you want, that confusion only adds to this huge problem of lack of understanding about how things are supposed to work.
So we've got the cynicism that's out there, and it has become a self-fulfilling prophecy, which is a little odd because, people have been making cynical jokes about government as long as there have been governments. But it has that cynicism is built to such a level, Jennifer, that there's people that are willing to essentially allow a government to be overthrown and allow, the First Amendment to be trashed because of their cynicism. It makes it hard to believe that there is a way to start to turn things back. And I'm putting this on your shoulders first, whether you want to talk about media companies or media consumers. What kinds of first steps are there that start to have more people understand the importance of the First Amendment and not allowing presidents to be dictators? I guess I'd go first just to say what we need is for networks, and I would also say for colleges and universities, a few more people to be especially vocal in standing up and resisting this trend.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. Right now, people are afraid. At every level, people are afraid. And we need more people to be brave and stand up to everything that Trump is doing, and remind your neighbors, your family, what the Constitution says, free speech, what it really means, and maybe even dig down to the granular stuff. I mean, one of the things about the Kimmel story that really bothers me is what he said and what he didn't say is not in most of the news coverage. He actually, all of MAGA is saying he said a MAGA person killed Charlie Kirk. He did not. He was making fun of Donald Trump. And I scoured news coverage yesterday in the follow-up stories about the Jimmy Kimmel suspension. And I couldn't find many that actually had what Kimmel said and also reflected what MAGA is saying he said. So it's an interesting, there is an Earth 2 over here. And I think people need to really understand that and appreciate it and then try to puncture it. And I think one of the ways we fight back against that is I think we have to start really leaning into alternative communication things. I think network news is on its way out. So what's going to replace it? Where's Jimmy Kimmel going to pop up next? He's not going to go back to ABC News or ABC. I doubt it. Where's he going to come? There's got to be alternative spaces. We already know that there are. I think we have to also help support the ones that are there and grow them, like Career and things like that. And maybe that's a start.
Yeah. Let's look at another dimension of this, Mark. And it's not, we've been talking about ABC a lot here, but let's talk about the affiliates and the affiliate ownership.
Oh.
And now I'm really going to show my age because I grew up at a time when we had what was called the rule of sevens. The most anybody could own was 7 AMs, 7 FM radio stations, and 7 TV stations. And that was it. And now we have these groups that own dozens and dozens of stations and hundreds of stations. And if they have right-wing ownership and biases like Sinclair and maybe Nexstar as well, it's those affiliate groups that are truly the big corporate media, arguably more so than the networks. And that is that just is blaring antitrust issues in my mind, Mark.
Well, that's a key thing, because while ABC as an entity doesn't, get regulated, or they don't have to be sanctioned by the FCC, the licenses, they're not licensed by the FCC. The individual stations, local stations, are licensed by the FCC, and that's where the Brendan Carr has them, by the neck. I mean and what you have is Nexstar, for example, which was part of the whole Kimmel thing, got that ball rolling. They have a deal now to get even bigger. That's got to be approved by Brendan Carr and the FCC. So clearly they're going to do whatever Trump wants in order to get bigger and bigger. And if people are complaining about the lack of disparate voices and lack of free speech, which the right wing was talking about, at least during the Biden administration, they need to be looking at these monopolies that are being built up. And if you're Trump, you want monopolies if they're beholden to you, because that just shuts everyone else out. And so Sinclair and Nexstar and places like that are extremely powerful now because they're completely controlled by Trump, and they'll do whatever he wants.
And again, not to get too deep in the weeds, although I'm always tempted to do like the entire 3-hour show, Jim, on Hungary. And what we're now, I think a lot more people are learning the word Orbanization for Viktor Orban. And I've only got a couple of seconds here, but I mean, I think people are right to be concerned about government not necessarily owning media, but having very friendly people in those ownership positions.
Absolutely. Very brief point. There is still an antitrust division inside the Department of Justice that should be attacking the very monopolies, those things. We used to do that. We don't do that anymore under this administration.
That's right. Jim Santel, you can hear him on Amicus Law Review Saturdays at 9. You can get Indistinct Chatter from Jennifer Schulze on Substack, and you can get Stop the Presses from Mark Jacob at stopthepresses.news through couriernewsroom.com, all part of our amazing Week in Review panel. And again, Free Ticket Friday, the keyword until 9 a.m. to text us is blue. Your chance to be in the running for a drawing for 4 tickets to see the Brewers versus Cincinnati next Friday night. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. and we are, we're dragging this back to Epstein. So let's see. Oh, I like this from Tony. Can we get a timeline of urbanization and compare it to what's happening here? I was thinking that at one point, it's like, yeah, I would like to see a timeline of how things unfolded in Hungary. And I actually think it's
Much
probably
more
one of these.
slowly. Much more slowly.
Right. And maybe that's the problem again, boiling the frog.
Yeah, we are beating Hungary and even Russia in how fast all of this is happening.
Right. There was an article.
How about that?
Yeah, right, and even more than what happened in Turkey. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sorry. The reason I'm laughing is that Parker has sent us a picture of the creature that was crawling up his leg earlier when he went absolutely crazy on air and thought it was a spider, and it's some kind of a centipede. How nice of you, Parker, to get a photo of the offender. Oh, that was funny stuff. Did you? I assume it's kind of out of focus. Did you smush it and then take the picture, or did you do a born free and gently set it outside, or what?
No, it's under the desk now, so I'm just kind of hanging.
It's still there?
Yeah.
You're still in the swimming pool with the shark. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I don't feel good right.
You shouldn't. And so at least I know if I hear a blood curdling scream, I'll know you should have killed it. So, all right, we are back in just about a minute and a half.
The people, in this instance through your radio speakers into your ears. Why, it's like a movie for your brain. This radio commercial is directed to the business community. If you want to reach more customers, you should be using WMDX Radio. It's that simple. Just email sales@WMDXradio.com and let our crack sales team show you how to make your business grow with the #1 medium known to humankind, the radio commercial on WMDX. Long may you wave.
It's the Eco Minute, powered by Clean Wisconsin, your environmental voice since 1970. I'm Amy Barrio. A new analysis from Clean Wisconsin shows AI data centers in the state will use more power than all the homes in Wisconsin combined. Potential energy demand has been disclosed for just 2 projects in the state, the Vantage Data Center in Port Washington and Phase 1 of the Microsoft Data Center in Mount Pleasant. Those 2 projects alone require a combined 3.9 gigawatts of power, which is enough energy to power more than 4 million Wisconsin homes. Wisconsin has just under 3 million housing units in the entire state. Senator Tammy Baldwin has announced Senate passage of a bill that will help protect Wisconsin lakes.
30 seconds.
Got another great day of programming here across the Civic Media Radio Network. You heard Greg Bach earlier. He and Jane Matinair will have Matinair on air coming up at 9 o'clock. And their guest at 9:35 this morning is Congressman Mark Pocan. And then they'll have Dan Schaefer from the recombobulation area just after 10 a.m. The Todd Alba Show can be heard from 2 to 4 this afternoon. And at 2:30, Todd will be talking to Bill McCoshen. Now, you and I would probably know Bill McCoshen best as the lobbyist, former chief of staff and campaign manager for Tommy Thompson. He was later Secretary of Commerce. No, Todd Alba is talking to Bill McCoshen today in his role as president and founder of the Janesville Jets North American Hockey League team, talking about their new arena and their home opener this weekend. Jim Santel will be appearing with Maggie Dawn this afternoon at 4:05, and then at 5:05, talking to Noel Haverson of NeighborWorks in Green Bay about the housing crisis and homeowner programs to keep housing affordable, and Nightlight with Pete Schwaba at 7:30 tonight, Bar Band Friday with Terry Barr. All that coming up on the Civic Media Radio Network. Head over to civicmedia.us to learn more. A few minutes more here with Jennifer Schulze and Jim Santel and Mark Jacob. And I want to go to the comments here on YouTube. This one from Adam. And then Mark, we'll go to you on this one. The administration is successfully finding ways to distract from the Epstein cover-up. No matter what, all conversations need to lead back to Epstein. Now, I'm not going to subscribe to the notion that this entire Kimmel thing was like entirely an Epstein distraction, but it happens to be a very nice coincidence. And I guess what I'm trying to do, Mark, is steer us back toward, I mean, not that this shouldn't die down. This is still an outrage, but we are careening toward another government shutdown. We have the Epstein files out there. We have farmers' crops about to rot in the fields because China hasn't purchased anything yet. And so somewhere along the line, we've got to juggle many plates at once and keep people focused on some of the things that are really going to impact them.
Right. I mean, yes. I mean, the real trick there, Pat, is that the Epstein files doesn't directly affect you unless you care about, children getting sexually assaulted, which all of us should and do care about. But these kitchen table issues, the fact that prices are rising, and the fact that the government may shut down. I mean, these are really important things for people. The truth is, everything's going in the wrong direction. I mean, when you look at public health and the vaccine rates and stuff like that, that's alarming. People will die in coming years because of what RFK Jr. did. And so, yeah, there's a lot to be alarmed about. But what we really ought to do is put it all under a big umbrella and say that everything's moving in the wrong direction because Donald Trump doesn't give a crap about anything but his own money and power. And same thing with all the Republicans who are enabling him, and they've got to be stopped.
Jim, if we were focused elsewhere, one of the cases might be on the Epstein case, the way that Assistant Attorney General Todd Blanche did not exactly put on a textbook case of how to deal with Epstein co-conspirator, co-offender, co-predator Ghislaine Maxwell.
He did a terrible job of interviewing her. And again, he should not have been doing that in the first place, but putting aside his incompetence. Again, this is the Deputy Attorney General, the second in command of the United States Department of Justice. Listen to what he said about the reasons why he did that. He said the point of the interview was not for me to pressure test every single answer she gave, of course. Well, if you really want to find the truth, that's what good investigations do, Mr. Yes. Deputy Attorney General. You've been a lawyer for a long period of time. You have no business being in that job if you don't understand how your own department works. And then here's the big one. The point of the interview was to allow her to speak, which nobody had done before. Again, Mr. Attorney General, Constitution, she had a trial. She has a right not to testify. That was the forum in which she could have taken the stand and told America everything that happened here. She had that forum, and he again repeats this notion that the American people should have had a chance to determine whether she is credible or not. There was that opportunity. She chose, constitutional right, not to pursue it. And what are you doing now, providing this additional forum? Are you going to go around as to every defendant who testified at trial, following which they're convicted, and say, you should have a forum. Let's sit down and just have a freewheeling discussion about things. This is so absurd. And again, it's coming not from someone who may not know about this. This is the second in command of the United States Department of Justice. It is horrifying, shocking, bewildering, and completely robbing him of his credibility.
Jim Santel is just getting warmed up. More preaching coming up on Amicus, a law review tomorrow at 9 a.m. across the Civic Media Radio Network. And Jennifer, I'm going to give you the last word to just to again remind people on any one of these things. I think everything should start with if Joe Biden had. And we can do forcing a conservative host off the air, the stuff that Trump said in London this week that got no coverage, acting like a complete chucklehead, not to mention, the Epstein case, but heaven forbid he trip on a sandbag and he now he needs to be committed. I don't know how we got to this point, but I will never get tired of pointing that out to media figures that want to make a big deal about Joe Biden's foibles that don't seem to be doing the same thing right now.
Well, spinning off of what Mark said, I think the big picture is we are less safe and everything is more expensive. And if you recall, those two things were big, big, big issues, particularly the more expensive throughout the Biden administration. And I think if we could just put all of that under that umbrella and talk about it with some regularity, and frankly, people are feeling it. Coffee is too expensive already. the whole country drinks coffee. I'm telling you, I think it's going to be the coffee that really makes this hit home for people.
I think so too. I mean, the people know what their prices are, and that whatever grace period existed for Trump on inflation, that is winding down rapidly. Jennifer Schulze, Jim Santel, Mark Jacob, thank you so much as always. It's always good to have you here. Have a great weekend.
Good to be with you, Pat.
Okay. Well, I mean, they're the best. We've got the best weekend review panel in the business here. You can hear them every Friday in our 7 a.m. hour. Dr. Kristen Lyerly, she's the best too. She'll be in here right after the 8 o'clock news. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Thank you, Adam. World-class segment. Yes, they were.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Chinese state media says the scheduled call between President Xi and President Trump is taking place right now. One issue expected to be the future of TikTok. President Trump said Thursday,
we're pretty close to a deal. We may do an extension with China, but it's an extension based on the same terms that we have right now, which are pretty good terms.
I was in the UK, and on his way back to the U.S., the president told reporters that broadcasters that criticize him should lose their licenses. The CDC's vaccine advisory panel will vote today on any changes to hepatitis B vaccine schedules. That's a day after Robert Kennedy Jr.'s handpicked panel changed the recommendation for the measles, mumps, rubella, chickenpox shot to split into 2 doses and not be given to children under 4. Today, the House and Senate expected to vote on short-term government funding measures, but Republicans and Democrats each have issues with different aspects of the plans. That means an October 1st government shutdown is possible. This is ABC News.
92.7 WMDX, Madison's real news and great conversation, and home to the Todd Allball Show, Monday through Friday from 2 to 4.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. There's a new lawsuit against the city for the ballots that went uncounted in November. 193 ballots were found by staff after Election Day, and multiple investigations have found that no one outside the clerk's office was told about it until over a month later. The ordeal led to the resignation of former city clerk Mary Beth Witzel-Bell after 20 years of service, and the Wisconsin Elections Commission declared she violated the law. Now, liberal firm Law Forward has filed a lawsuit on behalf of 8 Madison voters. Attorneys representing the voters say staff from the clerk's office had multiple opportunities to correct the errors after they were discovered. That's something city leaders have acknowledged. The lawsuit is asking for damages. If you'll remember, Madison will soon have its new city clerk. Lydia McComas starts in 10 days. Meanwhile,
well, hello there.
In a recall election.
Where are you?
St. Louis.
You just say that so nonchalantly. Oh, well, St. Louis. Although I know you said that last week, I think. So, all right. How have things been?
Good. It's good to be surrounded by like-minded colleagues and see friends who I love and appreciate and honor. These get-togethers are important.
No, that's great. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't see Kate here yet, but I'm sure she'll be along in just a bit. And Parker, can you find a music clip? I didn't go find it for you, but there's a party song somewhere where they just go shots, 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 shots.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that off the top with Kristen if you have it available.
That's
There, I love that Pat has to define it. There's a party song, and it goes like this.
Well, you're not going to get it from my singing, so that's for sure.
Have a shot
I
of
don't know
coffee.
if it's called shots.
I don't know what it's called. That's why I said it's just this party song where they say shots a lot. Okay, now I've given you a 30-second head start. Now we'll see if I can get to it first.
Got it.
Song by LMFAO.
He is good. He is good.
I was going to say, do you want this as bumper music? But I refuse to do that at this top of the hour.
Because I tried to look it up on YouTube and I still get the stupid pre-roll. So I've got to watch this promo for Hulu.
you don't have a whatchamacallit, ad blocker?
No, I'm not paying for that.
Mhm.
Do you pay for it?
No, there's a free one.
Oh yeah, there it is.
That
Okay.
they showed to me when I first got here, and I am very thankful for it because I don't have to deal with ads on YouTube when I have
Yeah.
to do this. So,
Well, hello there. Oh, you're muted there.
there you go.
Nope,
Oh,
still not
still
hearing
no.
her.
Check in next to the red button there, the settings gear. Check that you've got your microphone input selected correctly.
There's Brittany. She's got her, but still waiting to
Morning.
hear from Kate
Good
here.
morning.
So Kate's going to check her connection and her settings and all of that.
Okay. Can you guys?
Yeah,
hear me?
there you go. Yep. Here
I
you
might
put.
just, I don't know what's going on the mic, so I'll
That's
just
okay.
use the computer.
Yep.
This actually sounds really good.
You
for
sound fine. Yeah.
Okay.
You are good to go. Okay. We got just about 45 seconds.
it. 15 seconds.
Live across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here is the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Hey, good morning. It is 8:06. It's nice to have you back here up north on a Friday morning, September 19th, 2025. Parker Olson producing us down in Madison Studio A2. Meteorologist Brittany Merlo is standing by. So is Dr. Kristen Lyerly. And so is our friend Kate Duffy from Motherhood for Good, talking about a big time diaper drive that you can be a part of and maximize your contribution. All that is coming up. Before we go to Brittany, I do want to welcome in Dr. Lyerly and do so with a note from the text line from Jim in Brookfield. Good morning, Pat. I am now a member of the New Knee Club. Having had the replacement surgery on Wednesday, I am icing and rehabbing, following Dr. Lyerly's advice. It's good to have a doctor in the Civic Media house. Again, from Jim in Brookfield.
Amazing. Congratulations, Jim. Hang in there. It hurts. It's
Uh,
hard. Give yourself grace.
Well, and especially if, I mean, the tough part here, like he says, I am rehabbing following Dr. Lyerly's advice. Do you know who didn't follow Dr. Lyerly's advice?
Do you see my crutches in the background?
What are your crutches doing back there? That would be our favorite uncompliant patient, Dr. Lyerly. But you're getting there slowly but surely. More slowly, yeah, because of things like you're joining us now live from St. Louis because you're at a conference down there, right?
Yes, I'm at a conference for the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and we are learning about birth control and maternal mortality, how we can save more moms, and just coming together and teaching each other. And it's just great to be together, especially in this environment that is kind of no, it's definitely anti-health. The
Yeah.
general culture feels very anti-health, so to hang out with doctors and just recenter ourselves feels really good and important.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, we'll hear more about that, but we're going to visit with Kate Duffy in a sec. First, we got to get the Free Ticket Friday keyword out there and Brittany's forecast. So for Free Ticket Friday, this is the last one. So if you want to go see the Brewers versus Cincinnati next Friday, 7:15, get on that Civic Media app and text us the keyword blue, like the color, BLUE, before 9 a.m. Then there will be more keywords throughout the day, more chances to enter. One of those entries statewide will be drawn and win those tickets to next Friday's game. So again, blue before 9 o'clock. All right, now let's get to Brittany with a forecast for the weekend that is just splotchy. It's just going to be a splotchy looking radar all weekend long. You might get rain, you might not. And if you want a pinpoint forecast, Brittany says, tough beans.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's not going to happen. We're trying our best, but this system is big. It's going to be slow moving across the state. It is going to take up today, tomorrow, into Sunday. And another one wants to quickly sneak by on Monday and into Tuesday as well. So we have a wet next few days. Do not forget the umbrella, or maybe toss the raincoat nearby. You're going to want it because these are going to be on and off, and then really ramping up at times where they do have the potential to drop some decent to heavy rainfall. Widespread, I'm thinking expect a half an inch widespread. But a lot of these thunderstorms could put down an inch, so you could total up near 2 inches by the time this weekend is said and done, maybe more in places. And then like that heavy rain, like I said, into early next week isn't going to help either. So this system is moving in. We've got 2 fronts sandwiching us in the state right now. More spotty showers south, more moderate rainfall, maybe some rumbles of thunder up north. Temperatures are about 55 degrees to nearly 70 across the state. And we're going to continue to see numerous showers through this afternoon. Some thunder too, especially as we go into this evening and overnight. So we're going to get a little bit of a harder hit. Maybe a break tomorrow morning, but more showers spark in the afternoon and more storms, especially east, all across the state, those tomorrow afternoon and evening. And then Sunday might be the driest day. Maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed. But then that heavier rain moves in again Sunday night and into Monday. Also, beach hazard statement, Lake Michigan shores and in Douglas County, those waves are high. And those temperatures in the mid-60s up north to about 80 degrees for highs today. Tomorrow, mid-60s still up north, mid-70s down south. We're going to do the same thing on Sunday. And then we kind of flip-flop Monday with that rain trying to really hit the southeastern parts of the state pretty heavy. I think south, you're only going to be about in the mid-60s. And then Monday north, about 70. So cooler, wet and windy.
All righty. Brittany, thank you so much. Hope you have a good weekend.
You too. Thanks.
All right. Let's bring in our friend Kate Duffy from Motherhood for Good and talk about the big give back as part of the Milwaukee Diaper Mission. Kate, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? I'm glad I was here for that segment. I just texted my husband to grab the raincoat for Charlie.
Yes, yeah, I would love to go to Oktoberfest in Chippewa Falls this weekend, but clearly might I don't want the dance floor to get wet, but we'll see how that shakes out. This is normally where I promote the newsletter. You can sign up for it at upnorthnewswi.com. So hit subscribe in the top banner. But I'll tell you, the newsletter this morning is all about the exact same thing that Kate's going to tell us about, the Milwaukee Diaper Mission and the big give back. And so, Kate, tell us what you and your Motherhood for Good friends are up to with the Milwaukee Diaper Mission.
Yeah, so we are raising money right now for Milwaukee Diaper Mission and for their annual big fundraiser called the Big Give Back, and it runs through this Sunday. And so there's a few days left to get your donations in, and there's lots of upsides to doing that. So basically, the Milwaukee Diaper Mission formed 5 years ago by Megan Johnson when she was learning about everybody struggling with the cost of diapers and what happens when you can't afford diapers, and the fact that Milwaukee didn't have a diaper basic needs bank. There are some throughout the state, but there wasn't one in this area. So she started Milwaukee Diaper Mission, and they collect donations and diapers and work with many community partners like community centers and food banks to distribute them so that anybody on the ground in the communities who needs diapers can get them. Because as we know, parents, especially parents of babies, have so many things to be concerned about. Being able to afford diapers should not be one of them because they're very, very expensive. Most families, it costs about $100 a month. And, if you're going through a tough time, you can't use SNAP or WIC to buy them. So it really is a need that's being filled here. And so this is my second year fundraising with them, with my own fundraising page in the Motherhood for Good community. So we're looking to get as many donations their way as we can.
And Kristen, you've talked to and worked with enough new moms or moms to be that, yeah, people are familiar with things like food assistance and food banks, but there are all these other basic necessities, diapers high on that list that people sometimes have trouble affording as well.
Oh, Pat, I have 4 sons. I've been there. And it is crazy that you can't use SNAP or WIC to buy diapers. What are you going to do without diapers? Right? I mean, come on. So friends, please follow Kate, MilwaukeeDiaperMission.org. Please pitch in. These are families in need, and these are absolutely basic, essential, necessary items.
And there's also what a matching element
Yeah,
to the
so
contributions.
Nuna is like a baby company. They make car seats and all different types of things. They have been a great partner for Milwaukee Diaper Mission, and they are matching every dollar. So their full goal is $50,000, which if they Nuna is going to match every dollar. So everything you donate, consider it doubled. And then if you donate now through Sunday, everybody gets entered to win a signed Giannis jersey, which we love. And then if you donate through the Motherhood for Good specific link, which you can find it on Instagram at Motherhood for Good, if you put the link in bio, you can be entered to win merchandise from our shop. But no matter where you donate, if you find it, that is amazing. The other thing is they also have drop spots around the city of Milwaukee. Obviously, if you're not in Milwaukee, that wouldn't work. But by donating money, it actually allows them to buy in bulk, so they actually can get even more for the donations that they get.
From YouTube, Tony up in Ashland. First off, very happy to see Kate and Kristen together on the air here with us again. And also says diapers are expensive. He's got a new little tiny human there himself. And says they try to use cloth diapers, but need the disposable ones for daycare. It's something where everybody has a need.
Well, and Milwaukee Diaper Mission also has a cloth program because they feel it's important to have dignity and have people have that choice if that's what they want to use. But the daycare thing that's important too. Our newer daycare, I do have to drop diapers off. And if some people can't afford them, they actually can't even bring their kids to daycare and then they miss out on work. So it's a domino effect.
Can we talk about how fun it is that Giannis and Mariah, his wife, are engaged with this organization and have really helped out over the years? I think that really speaks to how important this is and just how dedicated they are to building community.
They're amazing. I mean, they do so much for the state of Wisconsin and always give back. And yeah, Mariah both of them have been involved in this since the beginning. They have actually, I think they have 4 kids now, right? And I think with the last few, they've actually had instead of a baby shower, they have a public diaper fund baby shower. And so it's amazing that they've been using their platform to highlight this.
Yeah, well, without a doubt. And again, MilwaukeeDiaperMission.org or head to Motherhood for Good on Instagram. And if you get over to Motherhood for Good, the one observation you'll make that I'm going to make to Kate Duffy here is, girl, you're on fire. I mean, the videos, they just come fast and furious, and they are such plain English explainers of all the issues that are going on. And so allow me to ask the question that you don't have an answer for. Where'd you find time to do all this?
Well, I quit my job, so I do have time. And now my kids are back in school and daycare. So if anybody's like, how does she do all that? That's how I do it. That's what I do during the day.
Okay.
And so, and I will say, there's no shortage of content. There is a little bit going on, Pat. So there's lots to talk about.
Oh, there is. I mean, from the breakdown of, how schools are funded in the state to some of the national issues as well. So you've got that outlet at Motherhood for Good. Kristen, of course, you're making your own videos, Fast and Furious. And there's also this show that you find some time to do on the weekends, right?
Yeah, the Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show. We're doing a spicy one this weekend too. We're
Oh,
switching it up
spicy.
a little
Okay.
bit.
All right.
It is spicy. We're talking about the Charlie Kirk assassination, and we're
Okay.
getting the perspective of some former Republicans and some folks who were not necessarily familiar with Charlie Kirk before all of this. So it's community discussion, and it's what everybody's talking about these days. So tune in.
Yeah, you can hear the Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show Saturday and Sunday at 3 p.m. on WISS in Oshkosh Appleton. That's at 98.3 and 96.5 FM. And on Sundays in the Green Bay area, Sundays 9 a.m. at WGBW 97.9 FM and 1590 AM for the Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show. Kate, no, go ahead, Kristen.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Podcasts. Yes. Podcasts are extremely important too. And now, Kate, I know you've done a couple of either podcast episodes, you've done some interviews, through Instagram as well. Is there any particular thing that people should be looking for with regularity, or just keep coming over to that Instagram feed for all the latest that you're working on?
Subscribe to the Substack. That's where it's sort of a newsletter, but also just deeper dives into things, although I'm trying to get more consistency. And then, yes, I think I'm going to bring the the podcast back, which will also be available like on YouTube. And I'm going to try for once a week. I'm like always nervous about committing to things, but yes, looking for more regularity for you all and myself.
Okay. And that again that's at motherhoodforgood.substack.com. Everybody's getting the Substack. Some use it better than others. I haven't put up anything there for a year, but I get to
You
yodel
already
over
have
here.
you're already writing and doing this.
Right. I get to yap here, so I'm doing just fine. Kate, it's great to see you again. Thank you for all you do and for telling people about the Milwaukee Diaper Mission. And again, either milwaukeediapermission.org or go through Motherhood for Good and click on the links there. Great talking to you, Kate. Thank you so much.
You too. Thanks for having me. Have a good Friday.
You bet. And still ahead, we're going to be talking to Mike Clemens, talking about sports. The Packers going to Cleveland for the weekend and the Brewers starting to wrap up the regular season. I'm Pat Kreitlow. You're up north. Okay, we're in the break there. And where was I going to go? I was going to go next on something, Kristen, that I sent to you. Kate, you're welcome to stick around.
Bye.
Bye.
She's a busy woman.
She is. That was nice that she agreed to come on.
Yeah. She has been a machine. I mean, the stuff that she puts out, I wish I had two of me because there's so much that I want to say. And I just don't have that much time, especially right now, because I'm, the rehab thing is slowing me down, Pat.
I know. My goodness. That's what we get for letting you ski. I'm going way back to root causes now. Yeah.
Somebody actually, we're talking about an upcoming meeting, and somebody said, I think we should go do a winter ski meeting. And I was like, absolutely not. And do not speak of it again.
Oh, yes. I know where I was going next. We're going to talk shots next. So.
Shots. Oh, that's the shots thing.
Yes.
Oh, that's not fun.
You're muted again, Parker, twice in one day. You never do this. Parker's had a day. Were you listening when you're listening when the critter was crawling up his leg?
No.
See, there was like
that's so going to be on the best of. It's just
centipede looking thing crawling up my leg.
Oh, yeah.
He's still weirded out.
I have been sitting with my feet like off the ground because I'm afraid it's going to crawl back up my leg. It's crawled on me twice already, so I'm not doing it again.
Why don't you squash it?
Parker's delicious.
It was really fast, and also I wanted documentation that I wasn't crazy, so I took a picture of it before I tried to squash it.
He did. He sent it
before I tried to squash it.
Yeah, right.
That's my generation. Is instead of solving the problem, we document the problem first.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. First we must snap it.
Yes.
Evidence. I love it.
Yep. And send it to your squad. All right. 20 seconds. We got Brewers baseball tonight against the St. Louis Cardinals. Coverage begins at 6:40 on stations in Richland Center, Oshkosh, Racine, Kenosha, Park Falls, or Hayward. Or you could just ring up Kristen Lyerly because she's in St. Louis right now. Are you going to one of these games?
I'm going tomorrow night, and I am like over the moon. I'm going to be with a bunch of Cardinals fans, and I'm going to be so obnoxious. It's going to be a blast.
Of course you are. Of course you are. Hey, speaking of Brewers, it is the last free ticket Friday, so text BLUE to us before 9 a.m., and you could be in the running for 4 tickets to see the Brewers versus Cincinnati next Friday night. I'm going to be going to that series next weekend over at American Family Field, so looking forward to that one too. For our next topic, I believe Parker has queued up a musical introduction for where we're going to go next. Parker?
Pat is lifting a glass.
It's a shot glass. It's a shot glass that I'm waving in the air like I just don't care because I don't get to use it. It's not those kinds of shots, but it was a great visual prop. Today is shot day. Flu shot, COVID shot, and for the first time RSV. So I get triple jabbed today. And I say that first off because y'all should be doing something like that too, depending on what is right for you, but also because this is a bit of a melancholy day. You'll recall that sometime back, Robert Kennedy Jr. just fired all the members of his vaccine advisory panel, put a bunch of other folks on, and this group is going to be engaged in some severe quackery today as they disregard anything related to science and evidence. And I believe one of the things they did yesterday, Kristen, was having to do with the MMR, measles, mumps, rubella vaccine and the recommendation for parents. And today they're going to say something equally dumb about the COVID vaccine, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think hepatitis B is also on the docket for these
Yes.
folks.
Yep.
It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know if you watched the testimony with Susan Menares. She's the
Yes.
fired CDC director that is a Trump supporter and was promoted and appointed by RFK Jr. and then subsequently fired. And he fired her because he wanted her to pass the recommendations of his committee without looking at them, just rubber stamp them. And she said, but wait, I'm a doctor and I have an obligation to science. I have to at least, look at them. And he said, nope, rubber stamp. And there are certain people who need to be fired, and I need you to fire them without questioning. And that's not what a leader does. And to hear her testimony and how frustrated she was because she's on their side. She believes in them. So that's how off kilter we are right now. This isn't about left versus right. This is about a very strange regime that has gotten into place and has a very clear agenda. And it is an agenda that harms the public health and will kill thousands of Americans over the years.
Yeah, you heard her and another doctor testifying before a congressional panel. We played some of Senator Tammy Baldwin's Q&A with them on the program yesterday. And the other member who was the chief medical officer of the CDC, Dr. Howery, talked about the rise in measles and that, this is going to kill babies. And all she wants to do is keep babies from dying. And yet you've got this new regime that appears to not care about that.
And we're feeling it in Wisconsin. Wisconsin, with regards to kids who are vaccinated, we're the second least vaccinated state when it comes to measles. And I can tell you that up in Oconto County, just north of Green Bay, things are brewing. Last week, I think we had 36 cases of measles. We're going to get new numbers today, but this is an incredibly contagious virus. It can spread. If somebody has measles and leaves the room and you walk into that room 2 hours later, you can get measles. So if you are not vaccinated, you are in danger. And it is especially dangerous for young children. I've heard a lot of people say, well, just get the disease and then get it over with. Well, that is true for some people. Some people will get the disease and get it over with, but it's not a comfortable disease. And it ruins your immune system. It makes you susceptible to many other diseases. And up to 3 in 1,000 kids will actually die. 3 in 1,000 children will die from measles. Kids will go blind. They'll lose their hearing. They'll develop brain infections that will affect them for the rest of their lives. This is not a benign disease, and it is not a disease that just comes and goes. It has a huge impact on young children for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I mean, we have cautioned previously against using Dr. Google. We have cautioned as well against putting all your faith in not a doctor, Robert Kennedy Jr., but that it is more difficult than ever for parents or anybody to find that fact-based information that works well for them. But this much I can say with certainty. I don't care if a politician is adhering to every fact-based thing out there. Don't get your health advice from a politician, whether it's a president, a cabinet secretary, whatever, especially like a podcast host or something. Folks are listening to things that they just should not be listening to. And then it's a small wonder that doctors that I know personally sometimes want to tear their hair out. Talk to the people who've actually gone to med school and know. That's all I can say to people.
You can get your health advice from this podcast host, me.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
and
No, the
ask
one who is a
questions.
doctor. Right.
The one who is a doctor. Then ask questions. Really, I mean, if you have health questions, send them to me. Dr. Kristen Lyerly. I am on all of the socials. Send me your questions. I will personally respond. Not giving you personal health advice, but just answering general questions. There's a lot of mistrust and
Yeah.
confusion about what's happening in the world right now. And because public health has been so grossly undermined, it's hard for us to know what to trust anymore.
Yeah.
Can you trust the CDC? Yeah, I don't know. Can you trust the online
Who'd
resources?
have thought
Oh.
we'd be at that point? Catch the Dr. Kristen Lyerly show coming up this weekend. I didn't even give her any time to make fun of my shirt. We'll just take care of that another time. Bye, Kristen. Enjoy St. Louis. Mike Clemens is coming up next to talk about the Brewers in St. Louis and the Packers against Cleveland next. You're up north. My very non-plaid shirt. It really threw off Parker this morning.
It looks like a game.
It looks like a game. Oh, like move the little pieces around. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that's
Like a
it.
game, like a game that involves bees.
Yeah.
Bees?
Yes.
Oh,
It's
the
like
honeycomb. I see. Got it. Okay. Well, you know what? She likes it, so that's all that counts. So
It also looks comfortable. It looks like a nice fabric.
it is. It's one that I bought for. This is what I did when I officiated the wedding in Portugal. This was part of that, and then a little coat that went over it. So it was a lot of fun. All right. Well, you have a lot of fun. Take it easy on yourself and enjoy.
This is all part of the rehab. See, there's rest, there's ice, there are drugs, and then there's distraction.
Distractions. That's what this is. Okay. Don't
Yeah.
distract yourself into another surgery. That's all I'm saying. So
Okay, Dad.
yeah. See. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Dr. Lyerly.
Here, that'll work. Okay. All right. Hello, Mike. Are you there?
Hi, Pat.
Hi. Good to hear from you. You doing well?
A little tired, but ready to go.
Okay. You in Green Bay this morning?
I am.
All right. Before you,
Pete show last night, and
when do you head to Cleveland?
got done tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow, and then come back Tuesday.
All right. Gotcha. All right. We're up in 2 minutes. See you in a bit.
Back in 30 seconds.
Here we go. The final free ticket Friday for the Milwaukee Brewers regular season. Your chance to win 4 great club level seats to see the Brewers play next Friday against the Cincinnati Reds in the final homestand of the regular season. It's a night game. You've got to be able to get and use tickets through your phone. You got to have that Civic Media app. Use the text feature. And before 9 o'clock this morning, text us the word blue, like the color, BLUE, and you will be in the running. There will be more keywords throughout the day, more chances for you to enter. And then of all those statewide entries, one will be plucked out and will be winning 4 tickets to see the Brewers against Cincinnati next Friday night. Again, blue is what you want to text to us. We'll talk more about the Brewers playing in St. Louis tonight in just a bit, but let's get started on the Packers first as we bring Mike Clemens in to talk to us about some of the sports that we'll be able to take part in watching this weekend. Mike Clemens, how are you?
Good morning, Pat.
Good to see. Good to hear from you. Rather, you're in Green Bay. You're going to be heading to Cleveland before too long.
Yep, we got practice today. We got Matt LaFleur, and we're trying to get some more answers on what happened at practice yesterday. You know, they let us in before the start of practice. We get to see the warm-ups. We get to see them do some drills, a little bit of passing around. They put up these big tarpaulins now, and they spent millions of dollars with the new convention center across the street. They don't want anybody looking in. I suppose if you're a kid with a model drone, you could take videos or something. But, you know, the top secret stuff, because they're going to be working on game plan stuff like second and third downs on a Thursday. And so they kick us out. So then, you know, it's like for the next 2 hours, you're kind of waiting around. And then you get a little text like, okay, practice is wrapping up. So you go downstairs and you stand outside the door. They open it up and you go in there and you talk to these players. And I'm talking to Isaiah McDuffie, the linebacker, about, so what about this rookie tight end the Cleveland Browns have that you guys are going to have to cover on Sunday? Number 44, Harold Fannin Jr. out of Bowling Green, like your 67th pick overall in the draft. And he set an NFL record, most receptions from quarterback Joe Flacco for an NFL tight end in their debut. And I said, he's almost had been like a Tucker Kraft year, right? And he didn't even blink. Said, yeah, no. And he told me about this player and how they would defend him and whatnot. And then after the locker room period's over with, they close the doors. The injury report comes out and it says Tucker Kraft, limited, suffered a knee injury. And ESPN jumps on it right away, and their official sources tell them, yeah, Tucker Kraft went down today at practice with a knee injury. He's being evaluated. Like, oh, no. Oh, no. And then about 5 o'clock, NFL Network said, yeah, well, initial evaluations say they think he just may have tweaked it, not season ending, more tomorrow when LaFleur talks to you guys at 11 a.m. So it doesn't sound like he'll be playing against the Cleveland Browns this weekend. But, you know, after they're still waiting for Christian Watson to come back. And then Jaden Reed, had surgery, broke his collarbone in that opening drive in the win over the Commanders, diving for that what would have been a touchdown pass. So he had surgery for his broken collarbone and his stress fracture in his left foot, the Jones fracture. And then you're looking at Romeo Doubs and Matthew Golden as your wide receiver targets. And that's why Tucker Kraft was so favored in the last couple of games.
Well, and he was living up to the expectations. He was generating, real excitement. And so now you see this and the thing with Jaden Reed. And look, I mean, injuries are part of sports. It's just that some years you see more snake bit than others. And folks could be forgiven for wondering, well, are we entering that kind of snake bite territory? Probably still too soon to say, but the lack of concern is not at 0%. Should we put it that way?
No, so yeah, so so in terms of backups, I talked to you about this during training camp. Like after Tucker Kraft, who they really got a tight end? Because Luke Musgrave, who was drafted at the same time as he was, was not looking good at the start of camp. Things have moved along though, and number 88 is doing a better job of running his routes and making receptions. So this is his opportunity against an 0-2 Browns team to step up at that tight end position, make some receptions. Also, there's a guy that they picked up from the Falcons last year, big guy, kind of built like Tucker Kraft, a John Fitzpatrick, who's now had a couple catches. He seems to have passed Ben Sims, who they picked up from the Vikings last year. So they've still got 3 more tight ends on the roster to get them through. Let's say if Tucker Kraft's out the next couple of weeks, it's been really quiet this week in Green Bay after all the hoopla with their opening game against the Lions and then their primetime game against Washington. It's kind of been like crickets this week. And you know what? I was saying to somebody in the locker room yesterday as we're in our media time, I said, this will all change next week because we go to Dallas.
I was just going to say that. I'm like, it's tough to get excited for Cleveland, but Dallas is next on the schedule the following Sunday. That's a Sunday night game. Yeah.
Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones and all that. So that's going to be a crazy week in the media.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you'll be able to hear the game on Civic Media, and of course, NBC will be plugging that thing like crazy. But as for this coming Sunday, again, the Packers at Cleveland, the pregame coverage will begin at 10 o'clock Sunday morning on Civic Media stations in Richland Center, Park Falls, Racine, and Watoma. And Mike will be there in Cleveland following it all and reporting back throughout the course of the upcoming week here. So let's move over to the Badger football team. They will be opening up the Big Ten season versus Maryland on Saturday. And so the pregame there begins at 9 a.m. on stations in Richland Center, Amory, Wisconsin Rapids, and Ripon. And I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer here, Mike, but much like we said about getting ready for a game in Cleveland, I'm not sensing a lot of excitement for a Badger Maryland game, even though it is the start of the Big Ten season. But the Badgers have been a little concerning looking, shall we say, especially the way they played against Alabama.
I was just looking this morning. I think Maryland's actually favored in this one. Are they favored by 4? The Maryland Terrapins, because they're 3-0. Now this is the first real, test for both these teams. Well, last week was a test for the Badgers at the mountain they were never going to climb against Alabama down in Tuscaloosa, but they got blown out. But anyway, the Badgers at home against the Maryland Terrapins, who are 3-0. The Badgers 2-1. As you say, they kick off at 11 a.m. And, it looks like Danny O'Neil will still be at the starting quarterback. And after getting blown out, last week, earlier in the week, a lot of fans, were commenting about where is this program going? And they're right. I mean, I'm not sure what the identity of what Luke Fickell plans to do with the program. And then people start saying, is the guy going to be on the hot seat as they get into their Big Ten schedule? And that will really be his test. What will his record be now coming up here in the middle of the season for his record in the Big Ten? And, does he get a shot at any kind of a bowl game? And I think it's pretty much, since they gave him that extension, he's got like another year, 2 year to figure out what this is going to be, to come up with some kind of identity. No question, Luke Fickell came to Madison at one of the most unique, is the best word you can think of, times in college coaching, with this total change of the landscape with the NIL and the portal transfer. But it would be a good time to really get 2 coordinators that you really believe in and understand, okay, what's going to work for us here in Madison?
Well, I mean, the point well taken on the time of transition with the transfer portal and the NIL deals. But, you also have the notion that Luke Fickell was going to be given that, you always have that first 4-year grace period because you didn't recruit these kids, and yet you're promising the moon and stars, like he's the guy that's going to get him into shape, and that's not really developing yet. So now you move on to the next phase of, well, I guess we got to get through these 4 years, and then we'll really see what he's like. But if the record isn't good with the kids he was given, it doesn't instill a lot of confidence that, things are going to be really great in year 5.
Well, and when you bring up recruiting, I mean, if you got a 4 or 5-star kid and you want them to get into the NFL, and on top of that, you want them to make money, because now they can. You used to worry about, can I get to a school that I can get into the NFL and then get drafted? Now it's like, what college is going to pay me the most?
Yeah.
And ain't going to be the Badgers right now. So yeah, there's a lot that they've got to figure out with their program, not just what their playbook is, not just what their schemes are, but what their finances are.
From Tony on YouTube up in Ashland, I've been a fickle backer, but I also have no idea what they're building toward. It's not that they don't have good players. Indiana and Illinois have started from a much worse place, and they're ranked now. And,
Right.
again, you can put some of that on the players, but boy, there's a lot to be said about coaching. It doesn't matter if you recruited them or not. You got to coach what you give. You got to play the cards you dealt.
Right. And that Carmichael program down there too with Indiana, that guy comes in like a year or so after Fickle, and look what he's done.
Yeah. Yep.
Amazing turnaround down there.
All right. Now let's turn to the Brewers, who again are playing in St. Louis. Coverage begins tonight at 6:40. They swept the Angels. Their magic number is now 4. The Cubs, meanwhile, they lost. They were almost no hit by a pitcher from Cincinnati yesterday. That was really something to watch. But let's address the controversy first. Now I'm going to put the controversy in quotes here, because I'm listening to Pat Murphy reading this letter, that he said was from Bob Uecker, but there were clues in there when he's talked about like having the best road record in baseball or something. And you hear that and you go, okay, he's kind of conjuring up
He's
the spirit of
ad-libbing,
Bob
at least,
Uecker,
right?
and he's ad-libbing.
Yeah.
And I guess some folks, I don't know, didn't take kindly to it, or were they fooled by it? I don't know. How much blowback is there on Pat Murphy?
So it's Saturday night, and once again the Brewers win a thriller. Like, I think their 13th come from behind win. They win 9-8 in extra innings. And then you're in the media auditorium, you're waiting for Pat Murphy to come out and do his press conference, and there's a bit of a wait, and then you think, well, they just clinched a spot in the playoffs. At least somewhere in the playoffs they clinched that. Okay, so then maybe there's some kind of a celebration going on. And he comes in all dry. It's not like they're pouring champagne over each other or anything, or Gatorade or whatever. And so about halfway through the press conference, asking about what happened in that game, he was asked, did you guys have you clinched the playoffs. Did you have any kind of celebration? Yeah, we did. Yeah. And he turns to the PR guy. He said, they videoed that, right? Yeah. No, you guys will see it. They shot video. Oh, okay. Well, everybody else kind of went home, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll keep looking for the website or Twitter or something. And about 2 a.m. comes this thing it's a video, and they've dimmed the lights, and instead of the bottles of champagne and the goggles, they've dimmed the lights, and they've got champagne glasses, and they're going to have a little classy champagne toast.
Yeah.
And he says, boys, I got a letter here from Bob Uecker. And Antanasio hands it to him, and he reads it. And it sounds just like Uecker. Hey, howdy, boys. Yeah, I'm up there in this baseball team in heaven, and gee, I'm the third catcher, albeit, and everybody laughs.
Yeah.
Because it sounds just like Uecker. But at the point when he starts saying, hey, congratulations on best record on the road this year and best this, best that. All right, well, obviously this isn't something Bob wrote before he passed.
Yeah.
So people start arguing about this back and forth. He got 1 million tweets before Monday night.
Yep.
Like 2 days later, the Brewers came out and said, yeah, okay, Murphy wrote that. It wasn't actually from Bob. We probably should have been more clear about that. Like,
You
what?
know what?
That was a whole weird seance,
It
right?
worked. But it works. The team is still hot, and they've got St. Louis coming up this
Sure.
weekend. Mike Clemens, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Travel safe. Some final news and notes from Lake Wissota after this. You're up north.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Dom.
Thanks, Dom. All right, Free Ticket Friday, last call from this program. You've got till, well, about 7 more minutes to text in the word blue, like the color, BLUE. Text in blue through the Civic Media app for your chance to win 4 tickets to see the Brewers versus Cincinnati next Friday night. And again, there will be more keywords throughout the course of the day, more chances to enter, and then one lucky statewide winner will get the tickets to the Brewers game. And like I said, only the one homestand next week that I'm looking forward to going to one of the games there.
Oh, which game are you going to? I'm going to.
I'm going Saturday.
I am also going Saturday. Are you using the Civic Media tickets?
I am not. Are you?
I am.
Oh,
okay. That's the only way I go to Brewer Games now.
and you didn't even have to enter a contest to do it. No, I've my college buddy and I are going, and we have used the Civic Media tickets, and bless him, he's like, that those are great, thank you for doing that, but I want to be able to do something nice too, so he took care of the tickets for next weekend's game. Nice. So that'll be good to get together, which means if I'm going to go to the game next Saturday, it means I'm going to come pester you next Thursday and Friday and do the shows from down there in Madison and in beautiful palatial studio A2. If and only if you call in the Orkin Man and maybe get rid of that monstrous centipede thing that was crawling up your leg earlier.
Yeah, I don't know if we actually said that on air or not. If for listeners who aren't watching on the live stream, I did eventually see the little critter that was on my leg, and it was like an inch long centipede looking thing.
And you made it sound like it was 8 feet long. If you missed it, 2
like
hours,
it was 8 feet long.
2 hours ago during the history lesson, suddenly Greg Bach and I see Parker almost climbing up on his chair, shaking around. He thought a spider was crawling up his leg, and then it crawled up again. And then he later found the offending critter, and it was this centipede thing that is still loose in your studio somewhere, right?
Yeah, it's still loose. I took a picture of it though because my generation would rather document a problem than fix a problem.
Actually solve it, right?
Yeah.
Why?
So,
I keep expecting in the background. I keep expecting to see Luke Mathers in a hazmat suit with like a giant fly swatter or a Louisville Slugger to come after this thing. Alicia's with you here. She's got an emoji up there and says, "Yep, I'd have been screaming if she was in there."
Actually, now that you mentioned the Louisville Slugger, there is a bat in the office somewhere. I think it's in the trafficking office.
Okay, I hope you like the Louisville Slugger because I think a real bat getting in there would put you over the edge if it's flapping around the
I don't want
studio.
to think about that, Pat. Why would you put that?
Did you have at Whitewater? Did you have bats that would sometimes get into off-campus housing or things like that? Because in Eau Claire, it was a regular thing where somebody lived off campus, older homes, and there'd be a bat, and there'd always be some buddies who'd come over to help basically the damsel in distress, and the going rate then was a case of a 12-pack of beer if you needed somebody to come kill a bat for you.
Kill?
Well, of course, kill.
Don't kill
or
the
let
bats.
it out, whatever.
Yes, let it out.
Look, we're up here. Do we just catch and release our deer? No, we kill them. That's how it works up here. We hunt up here. We go hunting for bats and centipedes and everything else.
Yeah, but you eat the deer. You can eat the deer. You don't eat the bat. We know
you
what
don't
happened
eat
last
the
time somebody ate a
bats.
bat.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, it turns out he lived a pretty long life and sold more albums, but that's an Ozzy Osbourne story for another time. So, okay, so bats were not an issue by you there. All right.
No, I don't think so.
No, that's fine. That's totally okay.
See,
Tony notes Ozzy ate the bat. And he lived for a long time. Alicia says Parker is a tougher man. This Navy vet won't mess with that. So there you go. You got one up on the Navy veteran when it comes to going after critters.
There couldn't have been a lot of critters on the aircraft carriers, though, right?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Because you dock at different points and things get in, and I mean that's how things get transported from one continent to the others. They find just the right way to hitch a ride.
If anyone was listening anymore, they're gone now.
Well, why would you say that? I think that
because
we have
we're talking about critters, and I want to leave.
Oh, well, here, Alicia responded. Here it is. Rats. Yep. Yeah. Rats. That's the thing. I didn't want to say it, but I have so weirded out Parker today. We really got to turn to something else here. The something. What's the other thing that would get on the ships? Alicia says Navy sailors. Well, yeah, there's that too. There's some critters amongst them as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going into this weekend whimsical, because we had plans originally with some friends, but they had to cancel. There was an issue with a parent who's not in great health and everything. And you've seen the weather forecast from Brittany. I mean, it's as hit or miss as it gets.
Yeah.
So we've just decided we have to just kind of play it loose. I mean, especially with the weather. If the weather's nice, we might go to Oktoberfest. If the weather's really nice, we'll get on the boat one last time. Here we thought we're already done, but we might get one more. Or if the weather's just iffy enough to go outside, we'll get some yard work done. I've noticed a lot more leaves have fallen in the past 24 hours.
Yes.
They haven't really started coming down yet, but they're making their appearance known.
Yeah, there's one street that's come down.
And who knows? It might be a total washout, and I'm just watching the Brewers and the Badgers and the Packers all weekend. We will see.
That's okay.
This is not like me. We are planners. We are very much. I mean, I already told you where I'm going to be next weekend with you and with the baseball game and everything else. I know where I am the couple of weekends after that, and so we're here. It's like that Saturday Night Live skit where the teleprompter goes out, and we're just like, what do we do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? There's going to be a lot of that tomorrow over coffee as we decide what it's going to be. But that'll just give us something to talk about on Monday, which is what we do because we can't. Yeah, we can't just do news and politics. If we learned anything today, have fun with the Whitewater game, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
You have a good time doing whatever it is you end up doing.
Whatever it is. Again, it's a weekend of whimsy. We'll just see. Up North News is the Wisconsin digital outlet for Courier, a pro-democracy news network building a more informed, engaged, and representative America. I'm Pat Kreitlow. Enjoy your weekend of whimsy. We'll see you Monday morning, 6 a.m. here up north.